Snack. Factually,
Rats,
as a snack.
help me out here. He's trying to argue dinner's a snack. It's not a snack. Dinner's food.
Okay, well, both concepts require food. So,
Yeah.
stopping that part immediately. Dinner is not a snack. Dinner is one of the typical quintessential free meals of the day. A snack is a smaller, miniature meal you have throughout that, in between those.
What about second dinner?
I mean, if you're queso, then dinner would be a snack.
Dinner is a snack.
Second
to me.
dinner is what my cat demands of me, including third and fourth dinner.
What? Dinner?
Oh, I figured out, by the way, why my voice has been on mono the entire time on the stream. Apparently, OBS has a tick box for mono, but unticking it puts it in mono, ticking it puts it in duo, which is retarded.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why they did it like that. It's also in mono by
love it?
default for some reason. So,
Ugh.
you on the VTTs, Rat? Ratter?
Can be.
Hop on.
I'll be on for the little bit I will be here. On my computer.
Oh, no worries, Kaz. Hey, Brogar, how you doing?
What's up?
You joining in the podcast?
Sure, why not? I'm also playing the Hearthstone pre-release that they apparently made.
Oh,
They
fun.
made another Hearthstone?
No, so basically Hearthstone's doing an event where you can play the new expansion cards a little bit early, but you have to spend arena tickets to do so.
Oh, that pickled onion is not pickled enough. It needs to be more pickled. Ugh, I'm gonna get a better brand next time.
Pickle Rick, baby.
Pickle Rick! So, Ratter,
Yes.
Albion. Doing Albion stuff.
Yes. One moment.
A place I don't think I know about.
Wagon is wondering if they are required or wanted.
They can join if they want. Oh. I won't say no to more.
It's disgusting.
I don't think I've been to Albion yet.
You've been there, you probably just didn't recognize it or realize it.
I ran sessions in Albion with...
Not with me.
You've definitely been in Albion, guess.
Yeah, but like I don't think I actually got lore on Albion. I don't think I asked about it at the time.
Albion's like a weird place. It's weird.
The second place you met the orb is in Albion.
Oh,
yeah.
where whoever did it fuck with the Khajiit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they massacred the boy. Oh, Rats, you know why I don't fucking remember that shit so well? That was the day I was fucking running Cyberpunk and D&D.
You run Cyberpunk?
No, I was playing the Cyberpunk session and doing the D&D session at the same time. Like a repub.
Oh, yeah. You guys were flicking in and out of channels. I don't know what that was about.
No, I wasn't. No, I had my alt account on one channel and my other account on the other channel. And I had one retard in one ear, the other retard in another ear.
Yep. Yes. Did you guys see
that definitely doesn't get confusing.
You guys see the pixel art I did of Albion?
Yes. I will say I preferred being in the rat side than the other side.
The rat side?
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Only took me an hour. So where should we start on Albion, Rats? Do we start what's currently going on in Albion, maybe? Or should we start like what is Albion?
What is Albion? That'd be
Probably-
the best place to start.
Yeah. Kaz, by the way, you are dumbass for the requirements of this. Which is perfect,
What?
because you actually are dumbass in the requirements of this.
What do you mean? Explain. Expound.
You don't know shit, which is the exact point.
Yes, that's legit. That's legit. What? Because then was over here like, oh, these people know stuff, and I'm like, I don't know why the fuck I'm here. I'm pretty sure I'm just here for the audience.
What
That
is
is
your
the
rank?
exact
Basically,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a
Welcome,
fucking lizard
Mr.
sitting on the
Audience.
log, waving my hand, saying, "Hey, I'm
Lizard.
So the general way lore podcasts usually go is it's either a duo or a trio in almost all circumstances. With one of them being new to the hobby of whatever it is, or just not being super into it. With the
Yes,
other members
I
being
sort of
super
know the
knowledgeable.
concept because I listened to a podcast where a weeb is teaching a non-weeb about anime.
Yeah, okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Insurance.
Yeah,
So
so in this
it's
case,
like that.
I'm the Remington. You guys are the Sean.
Yeah.
Those are the two hosts. So you don't think I'm just spewing out names.
Yes. And sometimes on these more lore-focused podcasts, they'll have special guests come on that are like super turbo virgin nerds about this specific aspect of whatever the podcast is about.
Yeah, or they are well
Get
known in
music
this,
up.
So me?
in this area.
Yeah. So for the format of the first episode of this podcast, I am the super turbo nerd.
I am the guy
Yes.
that knows secret knowledge, the fishbowl knowledge.
Yes.
I'm the
Aura
retard
is
that'll
the
ask-
like
that'll ask the
general. Aura is the host. The general guy who knows stuff will bring up broad topics. I'm the super virgin nerd who knows
Super
everything
virgin
about
nerd is
given
wild.
topic.
He owns
And
cats. He's
Kaz,
allowed to say that.
you ask the more like actual questions.
Yes. Hello, Wagon.
That is how this generally functions.
And Wagon is the
Yeah,
other guest, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just here to listen. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
I can't seem to get
which is-
music on the Discord,
Yeah,
so
no.
I'm gonna play music on my end for the stream.
Yeah, no, the bot-
You
the
can. It
bot
just needs to be
been-
Spotify.
Yeah, and also the bots have been buggy here lately. For
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Spotify
music
what?
bots have been buggy.
Yeah.
Let me go
Spotify
get
is-
copyright-free jazz from Spotify then.
Sounds good.
But yes, Wagner is just going over the basic concepts of how a lore podcast works.
Sorry, what? Does it consist of?
The basic
lore.
concepts of how a lore podcast works.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
Because that is what this is
Yeah.
attempting to be.
Yeah.
We've got the general knowledge holder and the host, which is Aura.
Hi.
Got it.
The special guest turbo virgin nerd who knows everything about a specific topic for that designated episode, which in this case is me.
Yep.
And then newbie who doesn't know anything or doesn't know much, which is Kaz.
Got it. I suppose I'll just be in between.
And then you and Roger are just here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Feel free to add any comment you wish.
But
Rat, genuine question. What is a good class for the rat folk?
Rogue, right?
Rogue Duoka.
The reason why I'm asking, because
Dude.
I don't want to just like a pure bard rat folk.
We moved the rat tail thing to a feat, right?
I believe
It's
so.
always been a feat.
Okay.
'Cause I don't just want to go
Nest has always
full
been a feat.
solo bard. I'm
Rogue,
pretty sure I'll get
Rogue
fucked.
benefits a lot from
Alright.
Tailmaster.
Rogue only needs dexterity, right?
Depends on the subclass, but generally dexterity.
For
Mainly
multi
needs
class.
dexterity.
my genuine
For
suggestion.
multiclassing, yeah, it's just dex.
Okay.
My genuine suggestion would be Rogue Swashbuckler,
Okay. Well, this
just
will.
so that you don't need the advantage for the sneak attack.
Okay.
Mm,
Well, if you missed. Well, you probably didn't read it, but as I said earlier, I'm being forced to make a dancing rat. So it's going to be a
Interesting.
fucking. It's going to be a bard either way.
Yeah.
I just need a class that can do the damage.
Right, so, welcome to the TCR podcast. I'm your host, Aura. We have Rats, who is our funny guy who knows everything. Special guests, Wagon, who is the dungeon master of... What's your country called again? Hojland, right?
The Hoylands.
Hoylands.
The
Hoylands.
It's just Highlands, but in another language.
We have Mentok, who's another special guest. He's a long-time player. Probably knows a little bit too much than anyone else in this room. And then we have our audience member, Kazuki, who is one of the most active players and currently a very active game master as well.
I think I'm like the most active.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yep.
I can definitely check those stats. Hang on a second. Player activity. Kazuki definitely has been on for 1 hour and 10 minutes today. So yeah, it's connected for 22 hours. Oh my god. 28 hours.
Yep.
Jesus.
If it's easier for you, just call me Kaz. It's probably it's shorter.
Yeah. So today we're going to be going over a little bit of lore about the world of the Cracked Realms, which is set in the island, continent, countries that's collectively known as Britannia. And today we're going to be focusing on a small piece of that land called Albion. I say small, but it's actually rather big in the large scheme of things, isn't it, Rats?
Yes, it is pretty large. It's one of the larger countries.
Right,
Or
yeah.
What?
was one of the larger countries before some recent event.
What the fuck
Before,
happened that made
I
it
believe
smaller?
someone stole some land in Highshire, right?
We will get to that.
Right, yeah. So, what is Albion, Rats? Can you give us a rundown, like a quick synopsis?
Sure. A sort of meta way, Albion is a later medieval, sort of early Renaissance. You feel free to correct me on that, Wagon.
You would be completely correct. The
Cool.
most accurate way to describe it would be akin to 1400s to 1500s northern Germany for the specific idea of how the hierarchy is. So that would be correct.
Thank you, Wagon. But yes, Wagon
No
is a history nerd, so very helpful.
Yeah.
But yes, Albion is very much stylized after that later medieval and early Renaissance period, the sort of 13th to 15th centuries.
Yeah.
So-
It is a nation of almost entirely humans. It's got like a 90% human population within
There's a
cities.
reason for that, right?
Obviously. Yes, there is a reason. Obviously, outside of cities, it's not really reliable to get population censuses, and what are deemed people in Albion is a little less liberal than other countries. So it is a mostly human-run country.
Alright.
And it is, for a long time in TCR, in a meta standpoint, it has been sort of the main location for big events. I think that's a good general.
We had quite a few big events there recently, didn't we?
Yes.
What were they? And the better question is, was I here for them?
I think you were here for the Vormamir at least.
Vormir was the illithid fox, right?
No, he's the
No.
ancient vampire that came back from the dead to
No.
re-rule his old country.
Nope, I have the only vampire
He's the guy that
have.
nuked one of the cities.
Yeah, no, the only vampires I have seen or heard of since I've joined has been Countess Eleanor during the peace treaty talk or the alliance talk.
Oh, okay.
Biggest thing
You're
you've been
aware of
here
Athron,
for
though, right?
Most likely is scrap. That is the biggest thing you've been here related to specifically Albion. Which we'll eventually get to, I assume.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
that
will
was
be
during
covering Scrat.
the getting one of my characters' bodies back, and I accidentally shot off in a area I shouldn't have.
Scrat is a funny little guy.
Yes,
Actually,
moving away
just
from that little bit of a tangent, though.
Yeah.
We will cover Scrat a bit later. Oh, back to you, Aura, I suppose.
Yeah, so, well, we've established that it's a medieval kind of country set in the 16th century. The world map that we currently use is Old Britain, and it's been redesigned for our purposes in our world, as it is a new world called the Cracked Realms, also known as Jura. But in particular, back to Albion, where should we start? What is perhaps the most interesting thing about Albion in current day? There is a big dragon moving about right now, isn't there? Like a really big dragon?
Yes, that could possibly be the most interesting thing. There have been recent developments with the big dragon.
Oh, there's recent developments? Alright.
Yes, that a few people in this very VC were around for.
Oh,
I remember.
The big dragon you're talking about is the one that takes up has its own map, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's sitting outside of a fucking orc camp right now.
Yes, the mighty Dragon Calamity himself, Akyosad.
Akyosad.
How can a dragon be so big? How big is he? Like, have we got metrics on that?
We do have some stats, yes.
Oh, we've got some
Akyosad
stats.
has a wingspan of a little bit over 25,000 feet.
Jesus
when fully
Christ.
folded out.
25,000
when fully
feet.
unfolded. Yes.
It's quite a bit.
That's insane.
Cool. Akyosad, a beast of any variety, is a massive understatement. Which is why I myself, and generally in lore, Akyosad is referred to as the Dragon Calamity, as there is nothing else aside the forces of nature that can be used to describe Akyosad.
Isn't also the other thing currently found out about Akyosad is there's a fucking city on him, like a full-on city.
That is the very recent lore, which we will touch on in a moment. A quick little rundown about Akyosad.
So, how does Akyosad compare against other dragons? Like, let's say, one of the biggest, most ancient dragons in the dragon class being a Elder Worm, right?
It's Great Worm, not Elder Worm.
Great Worm. Right. It's like if we put them side by side.
In terms of size for a Great Worm versus Akyosad, which hopefully we will be able to provide a bit of on-screen imagery for. Their size isn't comparable at all. It is comparing, well, a molehill to a mountain.
Person.
Yeah. It is truly, the difference in size is orders of magnitude. We use completely separate metrics for it.
Yeah, you know how there are power scalers who say oh yeah, this guy's city block level, this guy's city level. To put it into perspective, imagine a Great Worm is like a city block. Akyosad is would you say at least the size of a country when wings unfurled?
A small country, yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Damn.
Akyosad is in fact bigger than the Vatican.
Yeah.
So he's bigger than at least one country.
Yeah.
Probably a few of the smaller countries also.
I'm assuming we'll consider the Vatican later, at a later date.
The Vatican's a real.
Vatican is a
country,
real.
yes.
It's where the papals. It's where the Pope is.
There is an in-world equivalent.
Vatican
It's
isn't
currently
True.
Correct. Pope Leon isn't real.
Yeah.
there is an in-world equivalent at that location, but it's not the Vatican. It's something different.
Yeah.
So, big Akyosad. How important is he to Albion, would you say?
In recent years, Akyosad is, well, certainly becoming both an immense threat of just a walking natural disaster. Where he goes, earthquakes come, tsunamis rise. It is terrible to be within the vicinity of Akisad. A single
Unless you're
flap
like
of
a
its
butler.
wings will absolutely destroy any tiny little 50-house peasant village.
Damn.
But equally so, this mass of pure anger and just power is excellent at, well, scaring away other threats. Anywhere Akisad has recently tread can be noted to have far, far fewer monster populations than places he has not been.
You said he's angry. Why is that?
Well, that'll get into probably, I imagine, one day Akisad would get his own episode, but we can touch on that a little bit. Akisad has a ancient rivalry with a certain being of quite magnificent power. A god at that.
Oh yeah, I believe Baal, right?
No, Asmodeus, the god of the hills.
Oh, yeah, Asmodeus. I forgot about him.
How could you? I'm not going to ask how you forgot about Asmodeus.
Yeah, the real devil doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Just like the Vatican doesn't exist.
It's all propaganda.
Yes.
But yes, it is said in some of the earliest days of the world itself, after it had been shortly forged by Moradin, a great invasion came onto the mortal plane, heralded by the hellish god himself, Asmodeus, following his conquering of the abyss.
Huh. Yeah, Asmodeus did do a lot of the crazy stuff back in the day. How does Akusad fit into that, though?
Well, as part of the end of the Omniscience War, which will most definitely get its own episode a different day,
Probably.
Akusad was given right to not only have dragons exist in this new world, but he himself exist in the new world. In his current form, nothing changed. However, this came at the cost of requiring to make a vow, an oath of sorts, to Moradin himself. The oath being any extraplanar beings that came to the world and sought to upset its newly forged delicate balance in any meaningful hostile way would first have to tend with the great dragon Akusad.
So, in short, like a guardian.
Yes.
Okay.
believe he was, yeah.
Was Akizad always such a big dragon?
No, not always. Anyway.
Not always.
I mean, of course,
obviously,
it was-
at one
wasn't-
point he was the size of
when
an
it wasn't
egg.
giant.
I think we'll get into that, though, when we do the Akusad episode. So,
Yes.
needless to say, Akusad's quite important to Albion. He's a sort of guardian, sort of deterrent, sort of calamity thing that's going on now.
Yes, as unfortunately following this original invasion by Asmodeus, Akusad was forced into a deep and long slumber, where he laid in the northern portions of Albion for millennia, sleeping away, eventually having one of the most prominent cities that will definitely be touched on very shortly, Eldoria, being founded above his very scales.
Oh yes,
And
I think I know a little bit about that place.
And following a event that the Sanctuary Guild claims to have had no part in at all, Akusad woke up from his great slumber, and not in a one eye open seeing what's around him. He woke up in a great fury with a single thing on his mind,
Bro,
and that was to gain freedom so he could go back and, well, for lack of better words, run the ones with Asmodeus.
Round 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Rat's question.
Yes.
I think I remember being heard about this. Isn't the reason why he woken up because some chuckle fucks took Gallium over there, and Gallium just fucking destroyed all his treasure.
I have no idea whatever you are referring to. This
Okay,
sounds like
It's someone
Lies and
completely.
this sounds like Aphrodonic propaganda to me, actually.
It's lies and
Yep.
slander.
Great propaganda.
So it's something completely different. Then is what you're saying. Is three chuckle fucks? One died, took Gallium to destroy, and Gallium just touched the treasure.
The circumstances of Akisad's revival are completely unknown and mysterious. All we know is that the Sanctuary Guild had absolutely nothing to do with it,
Okay.
as signed by both the Spymaster and Guildmaster of the Guild.
Okay.
As we do
Totally.
know, the
We-
victors
we-
write the
that's-
history, even if the history is inaccurate.
I wouldn't say it's inaccurate. In fact, as Guildmaster, I'd like to claim that it is the most accurate depiction of events that has ever been known to anyone around, frankly.
What? No.
It's perfectly accurate. I don't know what you're talking about.
The
Sanctuary's
government controls
involvement
all.
with Akisad was completely none until after Akisad's revival.
No.
Mm,
Okay. I will believe you for now with this weird propaganda while a rat is telling me no.
mm.
Yes.
So that's how we got a big dragon roaming about. He woke up from underneath a city. Who's this
Yes.
Atheron you speak of?
Oh, yes, that good bit of Aphrodonic propaganda that was mentioned. Well, that refers to the last king of Albion as a whole, Atheron, who is very much so a joke in the community of TCR, as demonstrated by one of the listeners.
Athon who?
Atheron,
Whiny bitch.
Yeah.
if Aphron is ever brought up in any serious sense or unserious sense, it is customary to respond with who.
Who?
Oh,
Oh,
I don't
yes,
know
we were
what-
talking about Aphron.
I'm sorry, who?
no idea who that is.
Nope. But
No.
yes, touching on Aphron
Some edgelord.
seriously.
Yeah. going on
Aphron was the
seriously, yeah.
last king of Albion as a whole before it split following his death. Aphron was not a good king, was not benevolent, was not particularly responsible for the realm. They were a warmonger and a seat of power.
Mm.
And
They certainly were efficient, though. They did get stuff done.
they were efficient through using outer means that certainly do not bode well in our current time following the eventual defeat of Aphron. Aphron was very well known for bringing in demonic servants. Well, sorry, fiendish servants, as it was mostly devils, but the occasional demon too. Being brought in from the hells and just sent across the lands as soldiers, overseers, and, in general, servants.
Mm.
This did not particularly do well for anybody who didn't have the either authority or power to stand up to a devil. Bone devils and ice devils and even chain devils were commonly seen in every city and town of Albion. And following Aphron's defeat by the hands of the noble and proud Strong Guild Sanctuary, unfortunately, as a seat of power, Aphron created a vacuum with his disappearance.
A
And
very
with nothing left to keep these devils in check, they, for lack of better words, went on a rampage.
I believe it was a massive vacuum, because before he was executed by the guild, I believe he went around slaughtering all the nobles, because he disliked noble corruption.
Yes, not every single noble ended up in this slaughter, but quite a few of the old nobles of Albion were, with newer ones appointed by him and his knights directly, which will come up very shortly, as that has created its own set of issues.
And I know about those issues.
Yes.
That's the one knowledge I have.
So,
But yes, following Aphron's defeat, devils have rampaged.
So Atheron had some subordinates, right? Some pretty prominent subordinates.
Yes.
What do we know about them?
Atheron's most well-known, feared, and respected servants were known as the Dark Knights. They were a group, I think, just under 10 in total.
Yep.
I
can
don't have
confirm.
the exact number off my top of my head, but I think it's 8 or 9.
I can confirm below 10.
With their captain of this sort of personal guard and, in the earlier days of Atheron's reign, advisors, known as the Dark Knights, who served under their captain, Gallium, who is also an interesting figure in the terms of the Dark Knights for being set up very peculiarly in Atheron's reign, not through their pure power, as it was most definitely a tyrant monarchy. Power meant everything. Gallium was not the strongest of the Dark Knights, and was not even close to being the strongest of them. In fact, some reports claim he's the second weakest.
I believe he was extremely feared, though, by those that did encounter him. For a very particular reason.
Even the noble and powerful Sanctuary Guild had an ongoing fear and anxiety around the foe known as Gallium. Gallium had this peculiar ability to completely and utterly dematerialize any metal he made contact with. And would use this to great effect.
Magical and non-magical, I'm assuming?
Including magical.
Oh yeah, including magical.
Okay.
There was only one
from the
other
bad touch.
NPC that possessed such a power, and they were also equally feared. To this day, I believe that other NPC has reached out to the guild, and people still refuse to go fight him.
Scrap?
No. That would be Cedric, who is actually one of those nobles of Atheron who... nobles of Albion who survived Atheron's wrath.
Have I met Cedric?
You have not.
I
haven't
I
fucked
would-
that guy.
Be extremely surprised if you have met Cedric. He is a very old NPC.
Yeah.
I can
I
confirm.
remember the beginnings of Cedric. I don't remember much else.
I swore he was on the
Yes.
bounty board at some point, but I don't see him
He
on no
was.
more.
But yes, anyways, getting away from the Cedric tangent.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
The Dark
Gallium
Knights,
was his second in command.
Gallium acted as the second in command behind Atheron, mostly in the earlier days of this kingdom. Atheron, towards the end of his power, became a lot more tyrannical and a lot more self-serving, and
I believe-
began to ignore advisors.
We're not entirely sure why that is. I believe some guild documents did uncover that each of the Dark Knights was under a strict curse by their pact that they made with Asmodeus.
Yes, that is some information that was released by the Sanctuary Guild. Compiling the facts that both Atheron and all of his Dark Knights were heavily involved with the influence of Asmodeus,
Yeah.
perhaps acting as servants for him. Perhaps, it is theorized by some, in the waning years of Atheron's power, Asmodeus promised him more and more, which led to him ignoring his knights. Or perhaps Atheron just went mad with power. It can never be known, as Atheron is dead.
We did know, I believe the guild did once come across Atheron interacting with his wife, Rose, who's also a Dark Knight. And there was some very interesting interactions there where Atheron would effectively treat her like shit. But she would love him
Yes.
anyway.
That is, the tales of Rose the Dark Knight are very much so tragic. And even following Afron's death, she continued to not only love him, but try to keep his dream going, try to keep Albion together and revive him. Which, unfortunately, her efforts failed, although someone else's didn't. But we will touch on that shortly.
Was there any other notable Dark Knights? Ones that really stood out?
There were a few Dark Knights. One of them that most definitely stood out to the Guild of Sanctuary was the Dark Knight who simply did not have a name and went by a title, Chef.
Chef.
Chef
I
was
forgot about Chef.
noteworthy by Sanctuary for being incredibly weak for a Dark Knight. Not at all matching even Gallium's power.
Unlike the others, he
Chef
also
was-
didn't wear any shadow armor, which is like a key
No.
thing about these guys, right?
Yes, that is very key for them. All of them wear either shadow armor or some other kind of eldritch armor that isn't fully understood. But Chef
Are
was
they-
not. He had his whole gut out. He's
Bro
noteworthy
just
for
stood
being
there.
an ogre.
Like bare-chested and just tried brawling like one of the stronger guild members and just got absolutely
Yes.
told.
The method of Chef's End is also noteworthy in the guild, as Chef was one of the few, if not, I believe, the only Dark Knight to straight up lose a duel against a member of Sanctuary.
I'm not even sure if I can call that a duel. It was like a one and done kind of thing.
Was it like a
Yes.
normal duel, or was it like a not Orglin? What the?
Well, quite frankly, even calling it a duel is an over-exaggeration of Chef's part. Chef had not only himself, but numerous guards face off against one member of Sanctuary.
And they still lost.
Yes.
In less than 6 seconds, I
question.
might add.
About the dark shadow plate, all that stuff. Do we even still have some of that in Sanctuary?
Yes.
Probably. Some people don't
Following-
use it.
Following both Acheron's death and one of his final warrior's deaths, one of the notably stronger members of the Dark Knights, what was their name again? I don't immediately remember.
It's been a long time. They were a rat. I remember that much.
Yeah.
Oh, they had the rat shadow plate armor, right?
Yes. I'm just in my folder now having a look. I don't remember their name. They were very notable. Just their name was very silly. Oh, Skittles.
Yeah, he
His
was
name was
so
Skittles.
Yes, Skittles.
Yeah, he was
Skittles
so
look
notable,
like-
we forgot his name for a moment.
But yes, following the deaths of both Acheron and Skittles by the hands of Sanctuary, their armors were recovered. Notably, no other Dark Knight's armor in that moment was recovered by the.
If I may note, with a manner of great effort, at least for the Skittles fight.
Yes, that is noteworthy, as the current Guildmaster of Sanctuary himself was the one who dealt the killing blow,
Yes.
almost single-handedly defeating Skittles,
Uh-huh. Totally.
as signed
Yeah.
off by the Spy Master of Sanctuary.
So it was
That is,
Skittles' armor,
that is
and
what
was
he
it
signed up on,
Atheron?
after all.
Was it Atheron's armor?
It was both Acheron's and Skittles' armors that were retrieved.
Mm.
Noteworthy for their almost shadowy consistency, rather than simply acting as a object, they project an almost force to repel attacks, rather than actually blocking. They're a very peculiar and quite possibly ancient artifact that is still yet very much misunderstood in the guild.
Did Atheron shadow plate armor get like auctioned off like a few months ago?
It was notably picked up, I think, by Wood Elf Monk.
No, but I
That
know.
was
Well, I
Skittles.
know. It was in a guildmate's possession with Atheron's armor. But didn't it get auctioned off to someone else after like a few months ago?
Yes,
yeah.
I believe it was most recently auctioned.
Yes,
It's currently in the possession of Cypher.
Yes.
Such a powerful artifact as well.
And the worst part is I don't think they use it.
I'm quite surprised, to be honest. It is one of the most powerful items ever produced in TCR history.
Yes. Me myself, I'm tempted to try to trade them for it. Because it is such a good thing. And one thing I know this, I got big brain here that Rats forgot to mention. The Shadowplate armor, any race can wear it. There's no limitation on it because it molds around your body.
That is one of the most important and powerful facets of the armor due to its shadowy consistency. No normal restrictions apply whilst wearing this armor.
Yeah, so if you
even
want to be
though it's considered heavy,
it
doesn't actually apply any restrictions, which is crazy. It can also be donned and doffed at will, I believe.
I think as a bonus action.
Bonus action.
Bonus.
Which is still crazy, though. Like, it can just appear.
With this armor, well, these two pairs of the armor being just a few of the numerous artifacts recovered by the Sanctuary Guild.
So, that's the Dark Knights.
Yes, that is the Dark Knights.
That's the Dark Knights.
Yes,
they were very important to, like, recent events. Are any of them still around?
A few are notably surviving. Almost all were killed during the actual attack on Aphron. But a few have survived or been revived, with the notably only two original survivors being Cypher Black. I believe their name was.
Another new. I don't know. That does not sound familiar.
It was Cyrus Black.
Cyrus Black. My apologies, but yes, Cyrus Black and Rose, who were both survivors of the initial attack. With Cyrus later being hunted down by the Sanctuary Guild and slaughtered by a group of their rookies, yet again showing the sheer prowess of the Sanctuary Guild.
What's worse, do we know what level the rookies were? If there's even match level rookies?
Less than level 4, at least.
One of them was level 4.
That's embarrassing for Cyrus.
I believe. Was it Scragnag? I don't remember. I don't think so.
Scragnag was not there.
Got it. If Scragnag was, it would have been much trouble for the lad.
It was Urzen and a couple newbies.
That makes a lot of sense then. Urzen was quite...
Siren Black was like the second weakest among them.
But to be slaughtered by rookies, it is truly a show of potence.
It is unsure if even Chef would have perished by rookies. But another tale we will never know. And the remaining Dark Knight to survive was Rose, who has still not been seen since the initial attack.
I believe she was allowed to walk away by Sanctuary in someone's infinite wisdom.
The Sanctuary Guild allowed her to walk away, holding a ring that was later discovered by the Sanctuary Guild to contain the remaining aspects of Aphron's soul. Which is where we get into the other currently surviving knights. Specifically, one of them, the ever-noble and loyal captain of the Dark Knights, Gallium, was the last knight to perish aboard the Damocles during the attack by Sanctuaries. Holding the throne room shut and making sure nobody could get to his liege. But was felled all the same. In, I believe, the toughest battle aboard the Damocles, actually.
Yep. The
What's
toughest
the
battle combated by a B team, so to speak, of battlers, which led to the death of some of the oldest members of Sanctuary, actually.
Yes.
That would be including the believed death of Estelle.
Indeed.
It is possible it could have been a full party wipe had Atheron not forced each of his subordinates to give up half their soul.
Possibly so. What Gallium lacked in raw power, he sure did make up for in tenacity and battlefield knowledge.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
Which is probably more important than strength.
Well, both are important in equal measure.
Yeah, but from at least my knowledge from playing, if you have better knowledge of battle, you can easily kill someone stronger than you.
Yes, when it does come to the wondrous prowess of the Sanctuary Guild, they have raw power in spades. So usually raw power versus raw power doesn't quite work out on them.
Yeah.
Which is why Gallium is believed to have not only fared the best, but have killed many members during his final fight. But yes, following Gallium's death, far later in Albion's more recent history, in the recent months of Albion, following a good year or so after the defeat of Atheron, Gallium was, unfortunately for the Sanctuary Guild, revived.
Oh dear.
I think I was there for it.
Yes, you were. This was
That was the
following
orc.
an interaction with a entity the guild has taken to referring to as the Orb.
I think we all just called it the Orb. We just anonymously agreed on it.
Yes,
It was the best way to describe it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a entity of pure magic, as far as the guild is aware, and is capable of seemingly limitless power.
Yes, I think the biggest feat of that has been the guild master's brother, if I think that's the relationship, went from a dragonborn into a giant dragonfly that's about the size of a dragon.
That is true.
The orbs currently hold up in the Voradella, right?
That was the last seen location, and the location for the brief tale of Gallium's revival.
Is it only Gallium that was revived?
Well, initially at the very least, following strict instructions from the guildmaster themselves of Sanctuary, the orb was not to revive beings willy-nilly as it saw fit.
Yes.
However, these restrictions resulted in a minor amount of frustration, if the orb can feel that feeling, and resulted in it looking through the guild's archives via the crystals the guild uses.
Oh.
Yes.
And bringing forth a being it believed interesting, which was Gallium.
Interesting. So we have Gallium back.
Indeed. And in exchange for a favor to the orb, Gallium was allowed one wish by the orb, separate to the demands of Sanctuary. And the ever-loyal soldier had a simple wish, to return Atheron to life.
Oh dear.
But now Atheron isn't really much since he doesn't have his stuff no more, if I'm correct.
Yes. Contrary to even Gallium's revival, Atheron was returned via a simple teleportation and gross use of magic by the orb on the ring Rose had actually taken from the Damocles. And upon being brought back, Atheron was seen to lack the shadow armor and the general aura of pure evil he gave up.
So he's returned to his prior state before he was cursed?
That would appear to be what has occurred.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, Avoradella is a dangerous place right now. Potentially.
For members of Sanctuary, yes.
I would say 100% yes, because of one person in particular, and that is, I don't want to butcher the name, Countess Eleanor, who on the Sanctuary's bounty is basically told, don't fucking interact. Don't. No. Run.
That is not quite true. Countess Eleanor is not in Avoradella.
Oh, it's not. Is that the different place I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Oh, I see. This is why I don't know maps. I get.
Countess Eleanor, last known location.
The Noble Peace Treaty of actually Albino.
Yes.
Albion.
Yes.
Eleanor was last seen in the northern portions of Albion, near Avoradella, actually. Within a peace treaty meeting for the numerous members of Albion's waning royalty and nobility.
Yes.
Interesting. So, Atheron doesn't have power anymore, and Atheron killed the previous king and a bunch of the nobles. So,
Yes.
does the country currently have anyone in charge?
Generally, on the whole, Albion does not have anybody in charge, and outside geographic borders can barely even be considered a country. Following Aphron's death and the Devil Scourge, which seemingly vanished overnight a few months following Aphron's death, the civilians and nobles were sort of left alone with nobody to hold resentment against other than each other. The devils had mysteriously disappeared. Aphron, their previous maniacal and tyrannical ruler, was gone, and no form of government to point blame at, nobody to complain about their issues to. Which has led to many nobles stepping up as a new government. Somebody for the people to complain to, somebody for the people to get their answers from, to get solutions to their problems.
The best
However-
way to compare this to, if I may interject, Rats, is
Go
the
ahead.
similar way that before the proper collapse of the Eastern Roman Empire, for example, many of the nobles had begun not quite outright rebelling, but rather forming their own substates and subduchies to their general empire, in hopes to actually provide enough support and gather enough of it to be crowned emperor. Another good way to compare it is, for example, in the earliest days of China, where, a child emperor dies, no longer a ruler, everyone becomes a warlord, and they try to form their own state to eventually reform China, for example. This is
Yes.
very much a situation like that. So,
It
civil
is-
war galore.
It is possible that had the guild not killed Cedric, who at the time was an ally to the guild, Cedric may have taken the position of ruler upon Atheron's downfall, but we'll never know, since he was slaughtered mercilessly by the guild.
Unless for some reason the orb
Rightfully so. Cedric was killed for being a danger to the nation and the world as a whole, as Cedric had actually had a diary with plans of becoming a new ruler for Albion, as you just mentioned. With many of these plans seeming to echo Aphron's policies.
Let's not forget that the guild also made him an enemy.
This is not true, and there is no information regarding Cedric's fall to evil. as signed off by the Spymaster of Sanctuary.
Oh, of course, yes. As the victories write the history, of course.
Yeah,
To be
totally.
fair, I would like to point out that at the beginnings of Cedric's and our relation, the general consensus of the enmity that was born of it was almost solely through Cedric. Most of it truly was at the beginning of the relationship forming. Like I'm
Yes.
talking earlier days, when we first got acquainted with Cedric. A lot of it has come through misunderstanding and the genuine impassibility of just the genuine like stubbornness of Cedric not stopping to listen before pointing anything he had at our throats. So there is also
Indeed.
that.
I'm very
We've had a
curious.
long
Does the
standing-
guild want to disclose what that misunderstanding was?
Oh, there were many misunderstandings regarding Cedric. For example,
Yes.
from the very beginning, as the guild master themselves just mentioned, Cedric did always have a hostile outlook on both the guild and others in general. There is even reports of a priest in Cedric's original hometown who had Cedric's wife come to him with complaints of beatings,
Oh dear.
truly showing Cedric's ill intents.
I wonder where these reports came from. Would it be the guild, perhaps?
Yes, a member of the guild, the Spymaster herself, Nymphel, spoke with the priest in depth,
Hmm.
releasing the reports widely to be seen.
I see.
And one of these major misunderstandings that had a lot of fake news and misinformation spread around about it was the airship crash into Cedric's mansion. This, upon original outlooks and original stories at the time in Albion, promoted by Aphronic propaganda, claimed the Sanctuary Guild had done this maliciously and purposefully. However, upon a deeper look into the situation following the fall of Acheron and a freeing of both the press and the people, it has actually been found out this was a scheme devised by the Aphronic government to give the already hostile noble Cedric a good reason to join their side against their evil fight against both the world and Sanctuary. This is
Indeed.
all very accessible information for any current citizen of any Category 2 friendly country within
Category 2 friendly. Fair enough.
all of this information has been both provided and sourced by the Sanctuary Guild. They
So,
provide all of their sources for any citizen to read from.
Okay.
Cedric may have filled that gap, but we'll never know. And he may have become another evil ruler, just like the last two kings.
That
What
does
do we
seem
know
to be
about the
way it
king
would have panned out.
before Acheron? I believe there's a faction that's currently looking for his children, right?
Yes. The king before Acheron, I believe their name has been lost following Acheron's fall, as much of the original monarchy's both line and history was not only replaced but destroyed by Acheron. With only a few surviving older generations even remembering the king's name. So
Of
it
course,
is a hard to
Gallium's, art of war had him think that if you control the information, you control the people, so all information on the prior monarchy was destroyed.
Yes, which has led to a few members of some longer-lived races and secret orders that have passed down these names and this information from the original royal staff, seeking members of that long-forgotten and dead royal family, even distant cousins to kings multiple generations ago have been searched out. But as reported on by the Sanctuary Guild, no surviving heir to the throne can be located.
Do you think if one is located, they would have claim to the country?
I think by default, following the old laws of the realms, yes, of course they would have immediate claim to the country and would be backed. However, the legitimacy of their claim would have to be thoroughly checked.
Another thing that might be an issue is with trying to convince everyone else of it as well, especially because they did deal with a tyrant.
Yes.
Where do you
Which
think
is
Count
part of the
Sunflame would fall
reason.
on that?
Oh, yes, Count Sunflame has not made any claims on the wider throne of Albion, as far as most people are aware. And
Yes,
does not seem
he seems
to
like a
care
peaceful
for
guy.
the wider throne. Count Sunflame, a surviving member of Afron's newly put up nobility, has become one of the more central powers in Albion following the schism that is their currently warring states, and holds almost the entirety of a province behind it, protecting Westshire from much of the fall, notably having incredibly few devils rampage their lands during the Great Scourge.
Isn't Sunflame also the only one so far that has been seen to care more about the civilians?
A few of the nobles, including Count Sunflame notably, have been seen to care more for the lives of their people than political games and conquering of lands.
Yes, I think the most recent one was a quest he actually called Sanctuary, despite stuff going horribly during the quest, to try to figure out about a vampire maybe attacking.
Yes, there were rumors in the capital city of Westshire, which is the province of formerly Albion that Count Sunflame resides in and holds the title of Count over. There were reports in Avoradella of rumors of a vampire, and bodies turning up with all their blood drained. And the Sanctuary Guild was dispatched, and reportedly so far has done an exemplary job helping out the city of Avoradella with this issue.
That was
It is an ongoing
until,
investigation, however.
Sunflame's territory borders a nation of vampires and undead, right?
Kind
Calcetea?
of. Yes. To the north of Albion, and in particular Westshire, are the provinces of Luminous and Highshire. Highshire was formerly a province of Albion, but following Afron's defeat was actually annexed into the neighboring northern country Calcetea. And Luminous was previously its own city-state, and in general larger country, however was also forcibly annexed into Calcetea, following a great war.
Is that why they're called the Subjugated?
That is a remaining name for the people of Luminous, put on through an effort of spite onto the official Sanctuary map by a current guest of Sanctuary. Sanctuary refers to Luminous as Luminous, and this will be dealt with immediately. And that guest will have their rations reduced by 5 times.
Is Count Sunflame's involvement with this northern country known? How does he view it?
His personal opinions on the country are not super widely known, but he does have many trade deals with particularly Luminous and Highshire, importing in great and vast quantities of processed metals from the dwarves of Highshire, and notably from Luminous, exotic birds, who have both their feathers used and their general presence as exotic pets, often imported down into Westshire.
Mm-hmm.
So you say
so
Count
like
Sunflame's... sorry, on you go, Kes.
So it's just sort of like with Westshire, legit, just like how we use exotic birds just for the feathers and pets sometimes.
Yes. They have
So you'd say
a number of other imports also, but those are the most noteworthy from those two areas.
So you'd say Count Sunflame's quite clued into the trade routes and the ongoings in Albion, right?
It would appear so, as Westshire has, other than the very southern tip of Southshire, has remained the only fully fledged and functioning part of Albion. With Northshire, its sister in the east, having fallen long before Acheron's reign due to its own issues.
So is he aware of the new Merchants Guild, which is taking root in Albion and slowly growing from the south? The town of Silo.
It is believed that Count Sunflame and his entourage are aware of this, yes. A few of these new merchants have been seen in the city of Avoradella.
Oh, very interesting. And as we know with merchants' guilds, they try to claim as much property and power as possible, often building their own militia. Do we see them as potentially a threat to this land which does not have a ruler or govern? Or do we see them as an ally?
There is a genuine potential for this new sproutling of a guild to eventually evolve into perhaps a confederacy or even republic of merchants, taking control of that power vacuum that has been left in Albion. However, if they are to do this, they will have to fight their way to the top. And either bring the remaining nobles to heel, or, well, remove the remaining nobles.
What we do know about them... Yeah?
Before, because I don't know if we'll get back on the topic of the alliance. What was it fully about?
Oh, yes.
What was the plan for it?
Recent alliance of the northern portions of Albion. This is an alliance not called forth by Count Sunflame, but an advisor of Count Sunflame did attend. It was called forth by a general gathering of multiple nobles in the northern portion of Albion, who, following the more recently chilled but still chaotic civil war, trying to form a wider government and bring back the noble idea of the country of Albion. With many attendees from small villages to massive cities, and even vast swaths of land such as entire provinces attending.
Interesting.
Okay.
So this new Merchants Guild that's coming into Albion,
Yes.
We do know that they are backed by rather rich people from Edensville who are looking to move out of the Edensville market and into the Albion market due to recent problems with Edensville, particularly the nuking of an entire province. So,
when did that happen?
And we know that Albion has been lacking in resources, particularly gold, for a while. So, are there any nobles that might make a move on this new gathering of wealth?
Well, there are at least a few who would likely want to be involved. Of course, there is the newly forming Northern Alliance, which still has yet to complete its formation, but if it does, will become the largest power in Albion. It would be, quite frankly, idiotic of them to not involve themselves with the merchants in a both official and political sense.
If I may also add something to that, not to mention the fact that through the meeting, if I recall correctly, which there were many propositions by a specific member of the Sanctuary that suggested the involvement in that alliance of northern mercenaries from the Hoylands, as they have been dealing with very little other than expansion into the Badlands. And whilst the actual interaction might be difficult after what is happening to the coastline, still, it would be a great boost to their strength.
Yes. Sort of pivoting off of that. Oh, go on, Kaz.
Wasn't this alliance like sort of, not to toot sort of Sanctuary's horn a little bit? Wasn't this the one of the very few times a veteran successfully, basically used words to get something done instead of just using their fucking fist and bronze?
Not quite sure whatever you could be referring to. Sanctuary is well known for their presence in diplomatic treaties and meetings, often being seen as exemplars of peacekeeping within Britannia.
Of course.
Except
In fact,
perhaps
there
in
is
Northshire.
an entire court of friendly vampires, of all things, who live along the border of Albion and Calcetea, known as the Court of Sharan, who are on incredibly good terms with Sanctuary, having actually had their ways fixed and resolved by Sanctuary, who put them on a better path.
I haven't heard that court.
Oh, well, you simply must read the monthly reports signed off by the Sanctuary Spymaster, Nymphel.
I see. I mean, we say that Sanctuary has exemplary diplomatic relations with Albion,
Yes.
but that's definitely not true for Northshire, right?
Next question, please. As a proud servant of the Spymaster of Sanctuary, I feel as though explaining any further the Sanctuary Guild's non-involvement with the province of Northshire would bring up confidential matters.
I see. So
And
we're not going
did you
to
actually
talk
know
about the zombie
the
city of
Sanctuary's
Hull.
finances are up by 50,000%.
Truly.
Mm.
Truly.
Yeah, they're doing
Yeah.
pretty good with the finances ever since they lost all their money to a greedy lizard.
Yes, the Sanctuary market is up. They're doing great, actually. Up 12.5%, I've heard. Their market cap.
Yeah, some
Crazy.
fat little shit ate everything.
Don't
I
let
don't
a
even
lizard
know who
into
you
your
guys are talking
vaults. The lizard will eat
That
it
much I
all.
can agree with. The Guildmaster is strictly forbidding any kobolds from ever entering any vault after all.
Defect looks really sad at window shopping now.
Kobolds that enter the Sanctuary Guild vaults are required to be supervised at all times.
No, just executed.
There's a really good chance that the guild secretary, the rats in a trench coat, might even ban all kobolds at some point.
I would like to remind that the various rats in the trench coat are no longer my secretaries, as they have been appointed properly as guild treasurers. Whilst the new treasury is, in fact, if you would remember, the one NPC that you never have show up anymore.
Kit. She's working
my secretary.
diligently. She's
she
too
is my
busy doing all your paperwork.
The former treasurer of
All of
Sanctuary,
them.
the collective, did leave the guild
Indeed.
and has not been seen in any large quantities since. Members of the collective have been encountered, but not the general full consciousness of the entity.
Did Bro finally take his long earned vacation on the beach?
No, actually, the collective left Sanctuary on hostile terms,
Oh dear.
following a disagreement with the guildmaster as to use of guild funds.
Indeed.
Of course.
Damn.
Whilst
Oh,
their
folks.
funds were utilized with a manner of great sacrifice to free a former enemy, the guild, actually, from potential slavery.
That's what it was about. I see.
Indeed. We have graciously freed her, and despite the enmity that was later found in said person, regardless, the guildmaster seemed fit to at least give her a place to stay. If Rats would like to add some more things into it, he is glad to.
Unfortunately, as that would involve information being divulged about the confidential Northshire, there is not much more for me to add.
That is fair enough. Fair enough.
So I bet we go further west to Kingshire then. That's south. Sorry, let's go south to Kingshire.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in Kingshire. It's bordering a rather deadly problem in the south. It's got a rather deadly big dragon problem in the north. They're not doing too well west because they lost some land. And Kingshire is the seat of power of Albion, right?
Yes, Kingshire is where the actual capital city of Albion as a whole is held, the capital city being York. Where directly, well, not quite directly above, but in the skies above York, a little few miles off, was where the death of Aphron occurred.
Oh, yes, and the floating castle known as the Damocles.
Yeah.
A very deadly machine that Atheron had revived from ancient ruins.
Yes, York was, even following Aphron's death, one of the most destroyed and ruined portions of Albion. With it being the seat of power of Aphron, it held the strongest devils and strongest servants of Aphron, who, following his death, all, well, as mentioned, went upon the Great Devil Scourge, which led to the city's almost complete destruction and death of 90% of its human population. With the few survivors being forced underground into the sewers of the city.
Which if I remember correctly, was where the Assassin's Guild was, right, in the sewers?
Yes, with the Assassin's Guild sort of becoming, awkwardly, heroes of the people. As they would often protect and kill any devil that, well, often protect the citizens who were hiding in the sewers, and kill any devil that entered.
But of course, things are much better now, right? That King Atheron's dead, people don't have to hide in the sewers anymore.
Well, it was due to King Aphron's death they were hiding in the sewers.
Oh, right, of course, because the frenzy.
Yeah.
But now the frenzy's over, right?
Things are better, yes. Following the vast majority of all devils across Albion seemingly disappearing, the few stronger ones who had yet to go off wherever the others went, were still in York and were still causing a ruckus. But this was eventually ended by a force from the south, who had gone about uniting Southshire in not quite the same way Westshire was held together. This is more of a conquering but benevolent conqueror, who went around joining all of the small towns and villages of the mostly agriculturally focused Southshire. Vast swaths of farmland are found out there. These were all brought together by a individual known as Earl of Underbrook.
Oh, who's that?
They are a long-existing noble of Albion, with their family holding ties in Southshire for centuries beyond centuries.
Interesting.
And following the death of Aphron and the Devil's Scourge, Wunderbrook brought together a massive militia and cleaned house effectively. Went around freeing all of the populations of Southshire from devil rampage and rule, and created a very unified but militaristic South, which then made their way towards the capital to reinforce and see what had happened. Upon doing so, it is reported that Earl Wunderbrook and his forces completely cleared out the capital over the course of 2 days of all fiendish presence.
So does
and began
Earl...
rebuilding immediately.
Does Earl Vanderbroek currently sit on the throne?
It is believed so, although a awful set of rumors have occurred within the capital of the Earl Vanderbroek seemingly missing for quite some time now. It's been a few months shortly after the capture of the capital. He seemingly has vanished. There's many rumors going around of potential assassinations, kidnappings, perhaps a foreign nation holding him for ransom.
Interesting.
But it is unknown what has occurred to the Earl, or possibly soon to be king. Perhaps he has gone into hiding, whilst he figures out perhaps his own royal ties to the throne.
Speaking of York's throne, the seat of power in Albion, that's more than just a title, right? Like, we found out a long time ago through Guild Archives that the throne is part of a 3-piece magic item set created by a rather ancient vampire to control the people of Albion, if all three are brought together.
That is correct. There was a throne, a well, and
a crown.
I can't quite remember what. A crown, yes. A throne, a well, and a crown. That seemed to either control the people of Albion or do some other greater force that enforced control upon them. However, these three things have not been brought together following the death of Aphra. And the locations of all but the throne are currently lost.
As if I remember correctly, Atheron tried his hardest to get all three together, but only ever managed to obtain 2, the crown and the throne, but the well was hidden from him by someone.
The well has remained hidden. Not even the all-seeing and benevolent eyes of the Sanctuary Guild know its location.
Who was the person that managed to hide it, do we know?
It is believed to have had some influence from a group of gangsters in the underground of Albion.
Of course, Albion has always had gangsters. They used to have a mafia that was extremely prevalent during the King before Atheron's rule, back when Albion was advancing in technology quite fast to almost World War I kind of era of tech. They had cars, automobiles, guns, drug runnings. Although I'd imagine it's not so common anymore after most of the country's been told. So what is the deal with the Mafia?
As furthering on that previously mentioned point, it is believed the sort of descendant groups of that original Mafia were involved in the hiding of the well. And it is rumored they still hide it to this day, using what few of the original grand resources they held, imported in from much more advanced nations such as McCann and Renatria.
The leader of the Mafia hasn't been seen since Atheron threw them in prison, I believe, and I believe it was called Black Box. One of the other GMs created it just south of the capital.
The leader of the Mafia went by Granny. Their true name unknown, generally. They are believed to have both a familial tie to the Mafia and a most definitely authoritative tie to them. They were the last known leader of the central organization, and actually this was widely reported on following the capture of the city by Earl Vanderbroek and the investigation of these prisons. Granny and her associates were no longer located within the Black Box.
Oh. So what's going on with the Black Box?
It has currently been taken control of by Earl Vanderbroek's forces.
Interesting. Is it currently being used as a prison for the former army of Atheron, or were they all executed?
It is believed a few of the surviving nobles who have not submitted to Wunderbrook's rule have been relocated to the Black Box.
Interesting. Obviously, along with the demons and devils that flooded the lands during Atheron's rule, there was also an army of undead, which I believe was pushed back to what's now known as Lostshire. What's the deal with Lostshire?
Lostshire is not undead related, generally, actually. I believe you've confused it with the coastline.
Ah, right, of course. The undead was pushed to the coastline.
Lostshire was the first portion of Albion to be lost, hence its name. Long ago, even before Atheron's rule, centuries ago, Lostshire was mostly inhabited by halflings, and existed mostly due to its just sheer geographically inconvenience as a smaller self-governing province of Albion. They would pay their tithes and their taxes as required by the crown, but they were not vastly considered to be part of wider Albion.
Especially because of their race, because as we know, Albion back in those days was, they were, what you call it?
Human-centric. Although they have lessened up and eased on that a bit in recent years, Albion still remains a human-first nation.
So they're becoming more welcoming to other races.
Yes, certainly.
Okay. Also, is my mic quality still good?
Yeah, mic quality's great, man.
Okay. I just asking because I'm on my way to my parking garage.
I noticed the Lostshire is the same color as Calcetea, so what's the deal with that?
So, yes, when Lostshire was originally lost, this was due to a hostile force invading the area, and due to, again, its geographic inconvenience to the rest of Albion. It was sort of just left to fend for itself. The halflings of the region, whilst they did put up a good fight, were not a particularly militaristic people. Very few halflings, even now the few that have remained, hold any real combat and part of their culture. They are a culture of mostly bards and scholars.
Oh,
and of course, great chefs.
Do they still live in the area, or have they moved on?
A good number of them do still live in Lostshire. However, they have been darkened by the invaders who were from the island of McCann. These almost robotic beings that came and enslaved almost the entire population of Lostshire, which was at the time known as Halfshire.
McCann being the more advanced looking war forges that are from the small island just to the west?
Yes, the west of Albion. McCann being the generally considered smallest nation, but by far the most technologically advanced.
Their metal bodies and ability to repair themselves autonomously certainly does pose a military advantage in comparison to the fleshy meat bags that is every other nation.
Yes, and their tendency to use these fleshy meat bags as slaves did not lead to the halflings of Lostshire, well, living great lives under their rule.
No.
And why is it no longer under McCann control?
Well, at the penultimate battle against Atheron with the Sanctuary Guild and a few other countries, McCann actually, in a gaming terminology, attempted to third party. They brought in their own vast army and attempted to defeat all sides after they were weakened. They were, unfortunately for them, completely and utterly defeated by the combined forces of the Sanctuary Alliance, which was primarily made up of the Hoylands and Calcitean forces.
If I remember correctly, their numbers were also greatly reduced by test firing of the Damocles.
Yes. A large portion of the McCann army before it even saw battle was wiped out by the Damocles.
Not even
which
at its full power.
certainly aided in their much so overwhelming defeat.
And of
Which
course, the
led
guild
to-
had powerful allies and themselves are quite powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
Question: what is the Damocles? Because I know I don't know what the fuck that is.
I think that is a topic for Aura to speak on.
So the
I know what the Damocles is. It's a giant dinosaur.
Damocles is a very, very big floating fortress that was made from rune crafting, of all things, combined with an arcane craft of ancient descent. The guild has recovered documents that suggest... Have those documents been made public, the Vormir's Diary?
Those are not widely made public.
Okay. The guild has in their possession documents that allude to its origins. However, it is known that this was once the seat of power of an ancient powerful vampire called Vormir. There is actually a whole castle at the top of it, a throne room, servants' quarters, an armory. There's Thopter dispatch areas where they can send out people on literal mechanical Thopters. And of course, pointing straight down in the design of a sword is an ethereal cannon which has the power at full charge to wipe out an entire nation in one fell swoop. In recent times, the Damocles has only ever had a test fire and a half fire. The test fire being against the McCann army, and the half fire being one that took out a province of a country. If it was ever at full power, there's a very good chance that the entire map of Britannia would be wiped off the greater world map.
Okay. Is there who is in control of the Damocles now? Since Atheron was the one in control, but no longer is.
So, Atheron was originally in control of it, but he wasn't using the original Damocles' power. He was augmenting it to do something different. But we will never know what that is. All we know is that he combined his soul and several other members of his party's soul in order to attempt this. The other person who was... Oh, go ahead.
We've been... this is more for rats. Have these been made, like, the believed reason for Atheron's usage of it? Has it been made public?
I don't know the reason.
No, our believed reason for it.
I don't know our believed reason, but I could say, I'd say it's public.
There's only really speculation.
Yeah. Our believed reason, if I remember correctly from the few speculation that we had, was their intent to hopefully be able to breach the... for lack of a better term, because I don't quite know how to properly say it, but to breach the realm. And to cause as much... That is the believed possible reason for it, as it would have allowed likely Atheron to possibly cause a second incursion of dark forces upon the world. So there is a possibility that could have been it. But again, that is all speculation, if I remember correctly.
Theoretically,
Okay.
it could be used to erode the ice dome and wall that's around Albion right now. That's around Britannia right now that separates it from the rest of the world. At full power, it could
Okay.
also theoretically be used to break down the walls between planar realities and allow
Yeah,
it to.
that's more what I more so meant. Yeah, like that
Mm.
is, if I remember correctly, what the general consensus for a possible reason could have been.
There is really no
Okay.
known limit to how strong this thing can be if it's given enough time to charge, and enough fuel to charge it. Of course, the fuel is not really something people know currently. It's not even in the diaries or talked about. All you know is that there is some sort of fuel that powers this thing. Currently,
Okay.
after the defeat of the Great Bavormir, Bavormir who, it was taken control of by its own internal system defenses, which is a massive obelix, which almost TPK'd some of the strongest members in Sanctuary.
Okay. So the Damocles is sort of being ran by its own Jarvis right now.
The Damocles is more or less an inert castle in the sky with a big boss-sized center that will not let anyone near the control console.
Yes,
Okay.
it is being mostly controlled by its own caretaker, which is the Ublex, and occasionally supervised, and expeditions, supervised expeditions by the Sanctuary Guild do take place. As the Ublex does not seemingly care for anybody pilfering the riches of the Damocles, but does not allow people into its throne room.
We do know
Okay.
that the firing was a malicious last act of the Great Bavormir that caused the destruction of an entire province of Edensville. It's very unlikely to fire again, as it does not have orders to do so, and has not been seen to really do or anything. It's just floating there in the sky with its shields up.
Okay. To sort of give a sort of anime reference, would it be sort of like Howl's Moving Castle a bit?
Yeah, it'd be
Like
like
how it's
Howl's
in there?
Moving Castle if it was the same size as Akusad.
Okay. The other comparison I was going to make is like OG Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a castle called the Dark Castle in the Sky.
Would
There's
also
a
be like
castle in
that,
the
yeah.
sky that legit just had a shield around it and just said, "Fuck you, get away."
Yeah, basically. It took the guilds
Okay.
casting Meteor Swarm multiple times to bring down the shields last time, along with several thousand troops constantly attacking it for hours on end.
Okay.
But
How would you say Sanctuary's current strength? How long it would take them to take down the shields? Because I do know it has the power scaling has changed a lot since even I wasn't around for this.
Sanctuary.
Because our strongest member, correct me if I'm wrong here, Rats, is Yomi, and if he has all his subclass stuff activated, does an average of 80 hit points an attack.
I believe Sanctuary are weaker than when they last fought the Damocles.
Sanctuary, on average, are stronger. The average members are stronger, but the strongest members are weaker.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay.
The strongest to date being Wood Elf Monk, who was able to output a DPT, or damage per turn, of about an average of 200. It was truly insane.
Yes, I think
there was one that did more damage.
Just me glazing my own character. I think Guillaume actually out DPS's Wood Elf Monk.
Most likely, yes.
Probably so.
Yes,
I think
because he does on average 6 attacks a turn.
I think the point of who really is strongest shouldn't be mentioned in what exactly is like being done to damage, as the really truly scary thing about Wood of Monk wasn't the damage, but more so the complete immunity to some types of damages and the resistance. Not to mention, Wood of Monk is, and permit me, Rat, is in the long run a fraud, as a lot of the power he had, quote unquote, for himself didn't quite come from himself in a way, if it makes any sense.
Yes, but I do believe this little side tangent should be a topic for perhaps its own video on the noteworthy members of the Sanctuary Guild.
Yes.
And
yeah,
the noteworthy members. I will say, though, if you want to know anything more, Mentalk has fought the Obelix at the Control Center. Mentalk, you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you remember how difficult that fight was?
Big Blitz,
Yeah.
You were playing Crowdak, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that thing nearly killed us, I think, several times. We were just playing Rocket Tag at that point.
Yep.
For those who don't know what Rocket Tag is, at some point within a game, everybody becomes so strong where it's basically you either go straight from max HP to nearly dead, or from max HP to just dead almost immediately within a turn's worth of combat.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I was about to ask Mentalk, what the fuck is Rocket Tag?
Yeah, especially when it comes to higher level play, Rocket Tag becomes more prevalent. It typically exists between like the first 3 levels of a character, and then basically from like 7th level onward in a D&D character, for those who are wondering. It is where it can kind of show up.
It definitely is going to take more tactics to take down the Obelix at the center of this thing, that's for sure. Going to need more competent team members. Like, you were really good in the fight, and I believe so was Raz was there, but you do need 2 more competent team members.
The Obelix and the Boromir fight ended up with the trio who took it on, 2 of them momentarily dying, I believe. So it was, and these were some of the strongest members in fact, at the time, I believe they were the 3 strongest members of Sanctuary.
Probably.
They were just wiped because they went from one boss battle to another.
Yeah.
So it isn't really ideal to go from one boss battle to another.
Definitely not.
Was this during the period of when I swapped Ares from Barbarian to Fighter, I think it was, right?
Yes.
Then yeah, they were definitely stronger than Ares at that moment.
I believe it was Roja, Krauliak, and Maria who took it on.
Yeah, I'm definitely stronger than Ares, a lot of them, if at the time I had swapped. So yeah, for sure.
So the Damocles, we can talk about that in another video. But it is quite clear that Albion has some very, very scary creatures and NPCs just roaming about there, as well as a very deep political struggle going on. So,
100%.
How about we talk about
like,
the coastline?
Personally, I think it would suck to be. It would suck to be just a citizen right now with all this going on.
If you were a citizen in Albion right now, you're waking up thinking, "Am I going to die in a second?" Basically,
it's legit. It's legit a gambler's wet dream of, will I die today or will I not?
Albion right now is like the Wild West of TCR. Like, you could walk in there as a criminal and you would probably not get dealt with by the authorities because they are so fucked right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, some of the guild's greatest new members have come from Albion's struggle.
Indeed.
It's been good for recruits.
Yes.
I don't believe it appropriate to mention their names, as guild contracts are confidential.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Especially after the magical mind wipe thing.
Yep.
So, since we're talking about strong NPCs in Albion, before we get to the really big one, the really scary one that most people fear, let's talk about one of the funny ones. Down in the south of Albion, there was a little town called the HK clan base. Do you remember it, Rex?
I do remember. I believe the great guild heroes Grunt, and Lyra Acosta were involved in this battle.
There was a particular NPC which seemed to appear multiple times. Do you remember what their name was?
I believe their name was just HK.
Oh, no, not HK. The other one. The clone.
I do not remember that.
Does anyone here remember the clone? Wagon?
No,
I sure as hell don't.
I remember it.
No, I don't, because I wasn't there for it.
I believe it is serious business.
Yes.
It was business.
Serious business, yes.
Yeah, I remember actually, if I may, a fight that I believe was had with a very early on Atheron before he had taken the throne.
Yes.
Which happened between an ex-member of the Sanctuary, member of the Guildmaster's family actually, who was a paladin, who crit one-shot him with a Divine Smite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Send an Atheron.
So-
Do we know what level Divine Smite this was?
It was a second level Divine Smite at level 6.
Hmm.
And you could not buy feats, by the way.
Truly,
So-
the strength of the Sanctuary Guild is incredible.
Yeah.
Few
Like, what can
dangers
I
to the world being able to affect.
It was discovered some time ago that Granny, the leader of the Mafia, or a high member of the Mafia at least, had her son, Charles, cloned over and over and over again at this HK clan base, which used to be owned by a member of Sanctuary. And the clones became so devolved that eventually all they could say was serious business, and their intelligence stat was abysmal.
Truly stupid.
Indeed. They were very strong, though, and in great numbers. The last time we saw serious business was, as I think Wagon was saying, was during one of the fights with Atheron's initial encounter with the guild, where one of Wagon's characters just one-tapped Atheron back to hell.
I believe he was Eric Smagderson, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I do believe that was the last encounter with Serious Business until the defeat of Serious Business and the destruction of the cloning facilities of the HK clan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was.
I believe so.
However, Serious Business's original body was never recovered, and it is said that he is somewhere in Albion plotting his revenge of the death of his clones. Something to worry about, perhaps.
Who needs to worry?
But along with Serious Business, they were part of a greater problem, weren't they, Rats? There was another guild in Albion, right?
There have been a number of other guilds in Albion.
There was a group of particular individuals who set their eyes and goals on dismantling Sanctuary, the guild that all the players work for. Did we remember any of the members?
I believe this was before even my time.
Ah,
This
indeed.
might have.
I guess I have some lore dump then. So there was
Yes.
one of the former guild masters is a man named Gramps.
Oh yeah, Ares has knowledge of them.
Oh,
Yes.
This is way back.
Gramps had some very big beef with the guild because the guild forced him out of his position and tried to hunt him down. because God forbid the Guildmaster have a deal with Asmodeus, and secretly control the guild for evil means. So he's decided to start his own little evil band of miscreants to take on the guild and try to thwart you at every turn. This alliance included him, Granny, the former king of Albion before Atheron. It also included a man named Eld, the Great Lich, one of the most powerful liches in Albion's history. By his own account. Definitely not propaganda, I promise. And
well, I know what happened. I know what happened to him.
Funny enough, the former component smuggler of the guild as well. Oh, and the former owner of the guild's tavern. All of them came together and made their own little guild, but they've not been seen from in a long time. People say they've been lurking in the shadows waiting for their time to strike. Which does bring us to Scrat. Because El has made an appearance, right, Rats?
Yeah.
Oh, he has?
Oh boy.
I don't think no, because the only Scrat things I've been on to has been the Scrat Defense and now upcoming reinforcements. So I don't think I have met them yet.
So who or what is Scrat?
As mentioned just in fact, with Eld the Lich being one of the strongest necromancers of Albion, since the fall of the vampiric empires, which is a whole different can of worms, the necromantic prowess of Albion has been, quite frankly, shit. So, with Eld unironically being one of the stronger necromancers of Albion. However, there is currently in Albion a force whose command over undeath is so monstrous in both vast quantity and individual power. Even the Guild of Sanctuary judges their battles very carefully. That being Scrat, who I think, in fact, for Sanctuary's point of view on Scrat, I believe the Guild Master could do an excellent job here.
Well, where to begin? Scrat. Imagine a being of utter pettiness to the worst degree, who loathes over its possessions in a manner nearly more spiteful than the collective. Imagine a being that has a unknown presence until finally reveals itself. And when it does, you don't get scared because he's there. You get scared because there's something blocking the sun, and that something blocking the sun is a wave of undead that is about to crash upon you. I believe that is
I thought you were going to tell death.
And imagine, perchance, that you are fighting him, and finally you defeat him. Imagine that feeling of dread. When? Snap. He's back, right there, like nothing ever happened. Scrat is put very simply, a lich. One of the few that we know of at the moment. The most powerful lich dated in Sanctuary, in the Sanctuary reports. It is unknown what his phylactery is, and worse yet, he is accompanied by two extremely powerful minions / associates. A creation of his own that has come to terrorize the entirety of Jorah to some degree. Or at least the greatest areas around Albion, which is known, roll the drums, as the Pale Death. The Pale Death creation, indeed. a creation of his own, which is a weird amalgamation of different creatures with draconic aspect. A Draculich to most of our understanding, who is peculiar, who fights his battles with both sheer might and a incredible pressurized jet of water that it seems to refill in various intervals, which have been known to obliterate the upper sides of airships.
Can we even call that thing like a dragon? It's more of a hydra, right?
It's it's more so a Draculich in a sense, though imagine a wrong Draculich. So it's a Draculich that has had most of its draconic parts mixed and mashed together with many other things. A better way to describe it is an undead chimera to some degree.
Yeah, it's a very
Chimera being
fucked creature.
Yes.
To see that thing is truly to see insanity itself.
To see that creature, it is to have an omen of your soon-to-be arriving death.
Let's get lucky.
In fact, there has been... Go on, Cass?
I said, unless you get lucky, you see it once, but you're able to get out of there. I think the guild, since I've been here, I've had one encounter where as soon as we saw it, the first thing I heard someone yell was, "Get the fuck out of there."
Yes, the Pale Death has by a long time been a thorn in the guild side and most of Albion. It has been known to be a retreat on site, as it is nigh impossible to find.
The last time I encountered it as a player, the guild used the gate spell to summon something to push it away, essentially. Last time I checked.
That will be described in a moment if Graz would be so kind as to describe that incident. But that aside, the second servant is, associate, is a very powerful mage to our understanding. Sorcerer or wizard we do not know, but we know that they are extremely powerful. Likely necromancer, as the guild has fought them, and whilst I don't quite remember the name, I remember the fight that it was in, as it even forced the guildmaster to retreat at its most powerful.
Oh jeez. That is scary indeed.
I think it's weird that it wasn't scary. I find it cute.
That's the first thing that it comes with. What's the other thing?
The other thing. Well, I know about I've spoken about the Pale Death and I've spoken about the girl. However, for the rest, I think Rats might do a better job.
Yes. Those two, the Pale Death and the self-announced Rize. Being a tentacled, almost octopus-ish feminine creature, who is that aforementioned extremely powerful mage. They have been seen to be the either highest authorities within whatever Scrat's organization can be referred to as, or at the very least to be the closest individuals to the being Scrat itself. But they are not the only ones. There are numerous individuals every day joining in the ranks of this growing horde of undead, with two of the most recent ones being a great undead hive of Antra, and a great giant of old legend, Grendel.
I do remember Grendel. He was very, very fun to play as a GM.
Have I met Grendel?
Yes.
Is Grendel giant skeleton?
Yes.
Oh, he's the giant skeleton fucker that had the lantern that healed undead.
Yes.
that would be Grendel.
Yes, and he was accompanied by a spider?
An ant.
Or was it an ant? It was an antra. Yes. Her most annoying thing was her children.
Do they
Yes.
still have that lantern?
The lantern is unknown, as those two individuals have not been seen since that initial battle. But it
No,
is
they have not.
believed both have survived.
Oh.
Or whatever the undead's version of survival is.
Yes. Question, Rats. Have I met the tentacle mage woman or seen her? I want to say yes
No.
during the end of the rat defense quest before we had to leave.
She may have appeared there. I know the Pale
She
Death
may-
appeared there. She may have. The Pale Death appeared
Okay.
there.
Good. Her name sounds familiar. That's what I was wondering.
Hmm. So, what is going on with Scrat and his territory right now? How does he fit into Albion?
So, Scrat, originally not even a threat to Albion, came from the north, and is one of the more recent threats, only really appearing in the world as a whole about a decade ago.
Okay.
Encountered by the former version of the guild before its aggressive new management.
Was this before Sully or before current guildmaster?
Before the current guildmaster in the earlier days of Sully's reign.
Oh, okay.
Scrat was encountered by a group of adventurers from the guild, with, I believe, Lyra Acosta at their head, who is a very noteworthy person in the guild's recent history.
When we say recent, how recent do you mean?
Before you.
Yeah, you sort of got to use that
Recent
time zone.
recent
You got to use that time zone
is
for me.
end of Sully's reign and Ares' reign as guildmaster.
Yeah. End of Sully's reign is just after we had the detective fired, quite literally, at the end of the gun barrel.
Scrat originally encountered by this group, stealing the bodies of the dead from a nearby village known as Little Rock. Noteworthy for being the hometown of one of the guild's highest authority members, James.
Where is Little Rock?
It is in Calcetea, not Albion, but it's on the very southern border of the Calcetea heartland.
Right. I believe back then that was part of Albion's territory, right?
At the time, it was Calcetean territory.
Oh, okay.
This was in the very early days of Calcetea's founding.
Right. Just when...
Which is why Little Rock was so important to the country.
That was just when she was kicked out of his city to go do her own thing, right?
Yes. That was back when the founding queen of Calcetea was living in a cottage in the woods.
From little things to big country. To
She's not dead, actually. She's in guild custody. No, she's in the
that's
guild.
who that is. Oh, okay.
Yes, she is in fact the one who was believed to keep writing the subjugated on the guild's map.
Ah,
Indeed.
that's quite
Also,
funny,
the
actually.
very same person that has been graciously rescued by the great economic efforts.
Yes, graciously rescued by the guild. Unfortunately, against the wishes of the traitorous rodents known as the Collective, whose morals are only thinner than their pockets when the poor are around.
Does the guild still trade with the collective often or buy stuff from them?
Shut up.
I'm
Well,
more
you said.
interested.
I'm asking. I'm asking because you have said that we do get to see parts of the collective. We don't get to see the whole thing anymore.
The existing group of rats that have remained in the guild are a portion of the collective.
I see.
As
Okay,
is
so
the
the collective-
guildmaster's personal bodyguard, Greg.
Mm.
Yes, I've met Greg. Greg is nice.
Yes.
I
Also,
imagine
a
the
few
collective
members
Has
of the
Greg-
collective are still around.
will never truly leave Sanctuary
Has
as it
Greg
is
told
as much
you
their
guys about his
home
new
as the rest of
ability?
us.
Oh no, the music
Sorry.
mod.
What was that, Cass?
I said, has Greg informed you guys about his new thing he got?
No, he hasn't.
I did remember hearing Greg go squeak.
Yes, Greg unlocked a new thing called Rat Vision.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent for Greg.
Yes, Greg needed Rat Vision.
Rat vision. The fuck?
Speaking of rats and the vision for a rat's future, back to Scrat.
Yes.
Following this initial meeting between the guild and Scrat, Scrat was left be, as they weren't deemed a noticeable threat. And this is also the guild's first view of all three supposing founding members of Scrat's faction, Reze, Scrat, and the Pale Death, as they were the only beings seen in Scrat's lair other than a few swarms of undead rats.
Interesting. Very
However,
interesting.
this was a very small beginning for this interesting trio, as soon after a great peril had occurred, the Queen's personal secretary of Calcetea had gone missing, with her last reports being regarding issues in the town of Little Rock again. Upon the guild going there and trying to discover what had happened, she had been involved in a massacre of the town by the forces of Scrat, who had risen up from their watery lair and killed almost everybody in the village, aside a simple old man by the name of James.
Oh, James.
Yes.
Oh, that's where James
Who was later
comes
invited
from.
into the guild.
Yes.
He was much later invited into the guild. But that is where James comes from. He was actually the person who had helped the guild see Scrat for the first time. James, along with those guild members, before James was even a part of the guild, was one of the first people to meet Scrat.
James.
No,
Back when he was just a simple fisherman.
And now he's the world's greatest thief. For all of time and space.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And he allegedly has a partner that also helps him, but we do not know.
Allegedly.
It's all allegedly. The one that isn't allegedly, he is amazing at chess.
Because this surmounted in a vast battle between the forces of Sanctuary and Scrat, with, I believe, over 8 members of the Sanctuary Guild being deployed in this battle.
Oh, wow.
Which, for the Sanctuary's usual number of 4, is quite some amount of force.
Yes.
Unfortunately enough for the members of Sanctuary, over half of this massive party was defeated and outright killed in this battle. With the Queen of Calcetea, well, former Queen of Calcetea, Elise herself being present for the battle.
Huh. So how did we get from Scrat attacking a town in Calcetea to him basically ruling the south of Albion?
In the coastline.
Well, yes.
Following this battle and Scrat's retreat, Scrat was not seen for a bit of time. Until, mysteriously, the coastline of Calcetea and Little Rock vanished from wider political view, and then the portions of Northshire's coastline also started to stop having messages come from them. And then eventually it got down to the coast of Kingshire, then down to Southshire.
Mm.
It seems a very almost slow, but quite frankly it wasn't, considering it was over the time of a decade, but very consistent and long fought, just conquering of town after town. To the point in the modern day where the entirety of Albion's coastline and much of Calcatea's eastern coastline is completely taken over by undead forces. With one of the most recent conquerings being the largest port city of Albion, Ea.
Ah, yes, the
Which was conquered.
Former residence of Cedric Darkthorn.
Yes. Where the Sanctuary Guild participated in an evacuation. And the true power of how Scrat has been taking all this land was witnessed firsthand by, I believe, the Guildmaster again.
Yes.
If you'd like to speak on it.
The way that apparently at first was seen was a simple utilization of what was believed to be wave tactic, though once we had gotten to Ea to facilitate the actual evacuation, we had found just how horrific the acts committed by Scrat were upon the population. In a matter of minutes, waves of undead rats were emerging from little fissures and trying to sneak past. They were constantly sending smaller troops and smaller groups to sunder this exit gate in hopes to drive us down mentally. They had filled the bellies of some hostages and cut out their tongues, filling some of their bellies with rats, so that they could serve as tactical transports for their own troops, whilst instead they simply overfed others and cut their tongues after, so we could not tell the difference, which led to many possible survivors that may not have had anything truly done to them other than tongues being cut, having to be put down. It was
Jesus.
truly heinous and horrendous, which, by the Guildmaster's own thought, is the very same reason why we should be unifying against such evil threat.
Yes.
Bit of a personal question.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm aware the guild raided the Cedric's personal vault underneath his house. However, there was a family vault of loot, which I believe was found in a note by the guild, but they never actually went after it in the local cemetery. Is that something Scrat currently has access to?
I'll leave that
is
to us.
unsure. However, considering Ea's current complete conquering, it is likely, following the end of a currently ongoing investigation by the guild, a team will be dispatched to, investigate that and discover if that vault has been accessed.
Ah, I see. It is a very old vault filled with many rarities from the time of Bavarmamir, so it would be interesting to see what they find. It is said that a vassal of Bavarmamir once lived in the town, and that is all I remember. It's been a long time. Sorry, you were saying earlier, Rats? Before I...
Oh, yes. As the Guildmaster did describe, it is very much so a battle of both body and mind that has led to Scrat's quick and consistent conquering of the coastline. Both acts of immense terror-causing and actual grand murder has taken place, destroying both the numbers of armed forces and the morale of remaining forces, to the point, in often cases, Scrat and their forces don't even kill that many soldiers. The soldiers simply run
Mm. Something also worth noting, because it's along the coastline, the town of Breach, where the HK clan used to be, has actually sat unused for a very long time. Has Scrat taken the warships that were sitting there?
The naval prowess of Scrat's forces is decently known. They have been seen using twisted and corrupted warships, enhanced through dark magics. Usually pulled as if they were vast chariots by grand skeletal sea beasts.
I see. And knowing that he's a necromancer of great prowess, has he taken interest in any of the facilities that he's found along the coastline?
Well, I can't quite tell you about facilities, but there is certainly a creature of great renown that resides under the port city of Ea.
Oh.
That the Sanctuary Guild is currently, at this very moment, has forces dispatched to. Immensely large and storied individual of the purple worm species has existed under this land for thousands of years. Tales about it from distant civilizations and kings of past, conquering the beast to claim their coronation, are well known in Albion's myth. And that beast is no myth itself. It is very real. And there is a very, very well understood decision and objective by Scrat and its forces to kill the beast and raise it to their, well, to quite frankly, the horror of all who will tremble beneath it or be swallowed whole. This is a beast whose body itself is capable of just eating entire buildings.
Damn.
Armies will be devoured should this happen. But that is why the trustworthy and powerful Sanctuary Guild is here to help, with some of their strongest members being dispatched both to slow reinforcements to the area and kill the beast itself before Scrat's forces can reach it.
Yes.
What of the former town of Filey, which was destroyed by a war in Albion long ago, about 20 years ago? But more notably, there was a small goblin tribe with a mimic that likes to take the form of a throne. Has Scrat done anything about them?
Yes, actually. That is decently well known by the guild as that Northern Alliance that was mentioned much earlier on. A member of that alliance was not from the North at all, but was from Filey, and was the acting lord of Filey. Who had come seeking assistance from the forces of Scrat, and was in fact promised by members of the Sanctuary to receive mercenaries from the Hoylands regarding the issues, and had a number of ogre mercenaries at this meeting purchased for them.
Huh.
So the town of Filey is known to still exist and still be fighting the good fight.
Very interesting. What of the goblins that used to live there?
As it is a human-centric nation, the goblins are most likely either dead or seen as second citizens.
And the throne?
The throne is actually... There's a few rumors going around it was recovered by a private collector.
Interesting.
And the word around the roads and many paths of Albion is that private collector is actually the Count Sunflame of Westshire.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, I kind of remember that. Shit. Actually, I've never been in a quest where that was relevant. Huh. Alright. Well, you probably don't remember much of this because it wasn't mentioned, but a couple of squares north of Ayr, there used to be another town, which was a arena town, where there was a coliseum where I think it was a halfling would put people to fight in it. The ruins are still there of that town, but it was kind of nuked off the map by some adventurers long ago. However, there are many magical items there that have never been, to my knowledge, recovered. And it's not too far from Ayr. What is the deal?
Well, that is unfortunately a situation that does involve the great necromancer and lich scrat. Following as, well, lost to Scrat, a number of guild scouts were dispatched to the area to check up on it and see what remained. And it was found to have all of the bodies of these great warriors in these arenas had been raised and act as sentries in the area now.
Oh dear. Okay, so Scrat's been adding to his army slowly, which makes him an even bigger threat in the local area, right?
Yes. That is one of the worst parts about actually fighting Scrat. Every soldier you lose is one they gain.
Does he have no limit to the number of undead he can control?
It is unknown, but judging by just the sheer quantity of rodents that have been seen to be under his control, there is seemingly no limit. Or if there is a limit, it is beyond beyond the bounds of what magic states there should be.
Are there any other places of note in Albion? Perhaps High Shire, the location that was taken from Albion by Calcetea, the dwarven settlement?
Yes. Highshire is one of the best known places for finding dwarves. It is a smaller province, notably almost completely mountainous, and holds numerous dwarven forges in it, with the capital of the province being the dwarven forge city of Leeds, where the currently grandest and most impressive council of rune priests remains.
Oh, interesting.
With rune forging and rune crafting being some of the greatest lost crafts of Britannia, with very few knowing how to do it in this day and age.
Perhaps we can deep dive into the lore of rune crafting at another time.
Yes.
But what
would be a fun.
What is a quick synopsis of rune crafting? What is it?
Runecrafting is a very ancient form of enchanting, in fact, with modern enchantment magic, such as used by the Factory Guild in their imbuing arts and I forgot the new name for them, but the old masterwork weapon.
The temperance right now.
The temperance
yes,
weapon,
I do believe.
Tempered. Yes, the new magically tempered item. Originally basing their, how they transfer magical effects to items on the old rune crafting, with other existing sigils and the sort also being based off of these original runes. It is seen as quite possibly the oldest form of magic in Jura, and is done through 3 actions: a rune hammer, a rune forge, and a rune tablet, with the only one of these being reproducible being the rune hammer. Tablets and forges are seen as extremely difficult to destroy, and are completely unknown in either repair or construction.
I believe
And
only
aren't the rune forges a lot more rare than the tablets?
Rune forges are
Yes.
considerably rarer because you can only find them in very specific locations or where Dwargar have set up settlements. And even then, you can probably only find the modern one, which can only hold one template at a time. To find one that can hold multiple templates is one of the rarest things you can possibly find in this world.
Yes, even the Grand Forge of Leeds is only a free template forge.
That's actually quite impressive.
By global standards is mighty, but by historic myths there are reports of even 5 socket forges. But
indeed.
these are rumored to just be myths, none have yet to be discovered.
Yes.
I believe, regarding making a forge, there is so far one craftsman that's known to be able to make a tier 1 forge, but they're in Hoyland? Wagon?
Don't believe that's true. Wagon's not
Is it
true.
not? Oh.
No.
I remember
It's not
someone
how the forge
GM
came
talking
about.
about it. I just don't remember who was
There was
talking
an
about
old forge in recently discovered Dwerga ruins in the Hoylands. That was originally believed to have been a 2-socket forge. But over the millennia of disrepair, the second socket is unusable.
it. I see.
That sucks.
It was. I know exactly what I was thinking about. There may be someone who is able to craft forges available depending on what goes on in the DICE campaign. Highly dependent, though, if they let that person live. The Dwargar are the ones that made these forges anyway, and they're mostly non-existent, to my knowledge, anymore. But if one probably did exist, it would be among these dwarven settlements.
Probably.
Yes, the eldest of rune forges, tablets, and even hammers, for that mention, and the actual fruits of these labors, rune items, are all descended from 2 places. Usually these 2 places being very close to each other. Perhaps some ancient form of cooperation, that being giant forges and Dwerga forges.
I did forget, yeah, giants have a hand in, it's to, at least to some extent, in rune crafting, although it's not quite clear what their involvement is yet. Very few giants have actually been contacted by people in a while, at least ones that are old enough to have known the craft.
Yes, giants are a generally rare sight on Jorah, as a whole.
And even when they are, they're quite skittish. They don't like people.
Yes.
They like being secluded.
Some pursue them as mere beasts, unable to speak their tongue, as in the Hoylands, where hill giants are hunted as great trophies.
Damn. Perhaps there is some remedy that the guild could seek out in Axiom and the great mines where giants were forced to mine and craft for the Axiom orcs as slaves. Perhaps there is something there. However, Highshire,
Maybe.
specifically Leeds, underneath the town of Leeds is an extensive ancient Dwargar settlement, right?
Yes, very ancient Dwerga settlement that was completely unknown to Leeds until very recently. When members of the Sanctuary Guild actually went on an expedition, boulette slaying. There's a number of rare and exotic boulettes from Calcatea of all places, and Western Calcatea had appeared in Leeds in their
We
underground
lost
mines.
many a good adventurer to those bullet slaying hunting.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Grunt.
What? You mean Unga Bunga?
Oh yeah, Unga Bunga, sorry, bro.
Still
Arm
don't
Grunt
know.
died
to other things.
Don't use a god's name in vain.
You're right. Don't speak ill of the gods.
No, they'll
He's
fuck
already
you
done
up.
that multiple times, so we can't say that.
Speaking of gods, there is one or two that have been known to walk about Albion, right?
Yes, actually.
Ooh.
In particular, one has been seen in Albion, but has been seen in other places as well. Sort of just wandering around as he pleases.
Who
Very
dis?
rarely seen, but is known to just wander about all of Britannia. The Fey King and God of the Fey, Oberon.
Oberon?
Yes.
That one surprises me.
Who?
Following a
Husband to Titania, I
reappearance some
believe.
years ago. Yes. Yes, husband of Titania and king of the Fae.
Indeed. Titania is known to
Yes.
be a fickle bitch.
Indeed, and she is known to reside within the Feywilds, having actually met the guild on many occasions. With some members
Ooh.
even eating some of her, well, quite frankly, galaxy-famous cooking.
Damn. That's crazy.
I think.
It is said
I
the
think.
guild master keeps a box of cookies prepared by her in his own personal office desk.
Those are his cookies.
No one has definitely stolen.
The other god that I'm aware of that's been known to walk about Albion is actually one that was freed by the guild and is no longer a god and is now mortal. Mistra, god of the weave, or former god of the weave. Last I checked, she was busy teaching mages the ways to use the weave and corrupt it to do evil magic, in the hopes that she could gain back some of her power to, well, take revenge on certain parties. What is going on there now?
Yes, Mister has not been seen in quite a long while, presumably due to all of the hubbub with Acheron and such. Beings of great power, of course, wanting to avoid all of that.
Mm.
But there is notably a powerful, well, it's just a theory presented by the Sanctuary Guild themselves, but a powerful magical force has taken root within the new College of Magic in York, following Earl Wonderbrook's conquering of it.
Oh, we have a college now. Very spicy.
Yes, there is a College of Magic there with a strange being that they simply refer to as Angel, who seems to take care of the college. The guild theorizes this to be Mister.
Interesting.
Okay.
I mean, even though she's mortal, she's still a 9th level caster, so I can only imagine the shenanigans she's getting up to. Theoretically, she could even cast 10th level spells if she has the correct materials.
Are there such thing as 10th level spells?
Yes,
They,
there is.
they do exist, but they are extremely hard to learn about. You will typically only find them in ancient tomes that are from the Age of the Gods, which is before this universe, or learn them directly from an eldritch being, which is going to cost you a hefty sum if you want to get that information out of them.
Okay, because I know the highest you can cast at the moment for us is 9th.
Not
The
even for
highest,
you.
most
You cap at
normal
level
mortal
15.
casters. Well, the highest, most mortal casters at their peak could only get to is 9th level spells. This is
Yep.
literally the exception.
10th level spells typically require multiple 9th level casters, and sacrifices, and materials, and a very long ritual that can take multiple days to cast.
Okay.
There's only 2 known instances where a mortal has single-handedly cast it without those requirements, and it cost them dearly in terms of their lifespan.
Oh, I bet. So, is there any other places we've missed about Albion?
Well,
Blah.
there is one
place
more
we're talking
thing that we need to talk about Albion. Before current day Albion, the mess that it was, rats, it used to be in a golden age long ago, almost 1,000 years ago. When it was ran by
Back in the good old days.
the Lord God King himself, Bavormir. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Golden Age is certainly the way Bavormir would describe it.
Yes.
This was during the notable period in Britannia's history, in the earliest days of the world, shortly after its formation, where the great vampiric empires, plural, took control of much of Britannia. I believe over 70% of the landmass was taken by them. Pretty much everywhere but Brunatria.
Indeed.
Dragons.
A good portion of that was Bavormir himself, as he was sent over from a legion, which once covered both Axiom and a legion, but now only covers the top portion of what would be considered Ireland.
Ireland
he was sent over as a regent to take control of that area and develop it, I believe.
Yes. And back in those days, humans were the primary population of Albion still, as they always have been. But they were rounded up from their almost Germanic tribes into cattle farms, mostly. Which is a very big reason for the current human-first ideology much of Albion still holds to this very day. So remember, if you get called a knife eater in Albion, blame Bavormir.
Of course. Blame him. Bavormir, though, wasn't, like... Back in those days, he was quite the, what was the word for it? Pioneer. He used a lot of resources to better, his situation. Such as creating the Damocles, his finest achievement. At least the history books speak of. The history books that can be found on Bavormir. But there are other things that Bavormir did in that local area that are probably in buildings now buried deep under the soil or far under caverns in the Underdark. Such a long time ago as the lands shifted and moved around them, or possibly even destroyed entirely. We know about his vassals. What of Bavormir's, shall we call it, legacy really persists in modern day Albion? Is there anything to be discovered?
Yes, actually. A portion of his legacy, his vassals, do still exist in the region. Notably, one of his vassals once controlled a large portion of Albion. And that vassal's descendants now still do. And are in fact at the head of the newly forming Northern Alliance.
Oh.
This being the Vassal of Entertainment, who was once known as Silas.
I think that's the guy that's made the Guildmaster's arms, right?
No.
Damn it.
That is Kaurus.
Damn it, they all start with C.
Silas starts with an S.
God,
Wait,
get it right.
Silas, to my knowledge, was probably one of the most notable vampires in recent times.
Yes. Silas is an old vampire. By
I haven't met him
all
once, right?
standpoints. You have not.
And Silas isn't also. I don't want to say this is it, but Silas isn't the one that does equal lefts, equal rights, right?
That is him.
Silas.
That is Silas. That does not seem like it. God.
I heard he was also very flamboyant.
Yes.
I
He also has a way with the ladies.
I believe that as well.
He swings both ways.
But I think he'll get his own episode alone from all the stuff that's happened with him.
Equal rights, equal fights, says Silas.
Yeah, I believe in that as well.
Yes. Silas, famous for his three-piece combo of equal rights, equal lefts, and rated E for everyone.
Yes.
Man does not discriminate.
No.
No, why should?
But yes, Silas is an old vampire by even vampire standards. Even some of the older vampires who have been around for a millennium consider Silas old.
Oh wow.
In both vampiric culture, myth, and Albion myth, Silas has just always been. He was around before the great vampiric empires. He was around after, and he was around even towards the modern day of Albion.
Indeed.
Yes.
He has truly seen
know
Albion
where
for
it
its
is
rise
now?
and fall in every stage.
It is unknown how old he actually is, just that he is immensely old, multiple thousands of years.
Okay.
And in recent times, he is considered dead. We have
Quite
to
a
use
tragedy.
words carefully due to various confidentiality reasons.
Quite a tragedy.
Okay.
But Silas's progeny, the House of Fangs, still remains in control of Northshire, which was the province of Albion Silas himself was count over. With one of his few wives, Countess Eleanor, taking his title and control over the lands following Afron's defeat. And in general, Silas's death and disappearance.
Okay.
With Countess Eleanor being most recently seen at the peace meeting of the Northern Alliance. Very much so taking a center stage upon her arrival.
We know that Silas is one of the oldest among vampires, at least from historical standpoints, but there are also other vassals, right, that are yet to be discovered.
Yeah. Paloma had a number of vassals, with a few of them still being known to exist. One of the more prominent ones, who doesn't quite have a presence in Albion, but has a presence in the vampiric homeland of Legion, being Sicarius.
What was he the vassal of?
Sicarius was the vassal of, well, agriculture, but vampiric agriculture.
Ah, the fun farms.
The blood
Yes.
farms.
Sicarius and all of his progeny are known to hold a remarkable ability by vampiric standards. A complete immunity to the vampiric weakness to sunlight.
Wow,
Which
that
made
is
them
quite powerful.
Excellent at their role of farmhands.
Yes, farm hands, quotation marks.
Yes.
Really
It
horrific.
is technically correct.
The best kind of correct.
Yeah.
It's grammatically correct.
Yep.
I wonder what breeds of human are going to be on the cattle menu today.
Yes, a little bit of halfling with a mix of dwarven.
Those aren't.
Those aren't
No.
human, but
I
Yeah,
prefer
they're
my
not
southern
human.
humans. Not my northern humans, you know? Tastes different.
Yes.
Eh.
Alright.
It's all
Blood
tastes
is
like
blood.
chicken. Yeah.
Indeed.
So,
yes. No, go on.
we've covered, like, all the major powers, I think, in Albion right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about the average citizen? What
The-
the fuck is the average citizen doing right about now?
Heavily depends where you are. If you are a citizen who lives near the coast and relies on the coast to live, you're not having a good time. You wake up, you check in with the town guard to see if any rodents have been sighted in the town. You make note of if you've seen any rodents, living or dead for that matter.
Oh, I see.
And upon anything being killed, even if it's something as simple as a bird being hunted, its body is to be immediately stripped, its bones used for food or burnt, and then buried deep underground.
What if you live near the capital?
If you live near the capital, you are generally doing okay. The occasional bit of banditry is the biggest of your worries, and roaming monsters, but even that isn't too major near the capital. Generally, you avoid forests due to those monsters. You avoid mountains due to bandits and Goliath tribes. But you're doing well. And of course, ogre tribes.
What if we,
You're living not a great life, but you're living.
what if we live in the dreaded Northshire?
Northshire is not a great place to be right now, with almost the northern portion of Northshire being completely taken over by Scrat. However, if you're within the former city of Hull, you actually don't have a terrible life. You're either a refugee or a descendant of refugees.
Or
who
an undead?
lives under... Yes, or an undead who lives under the reign of an Alhun, who has taken command of the destroyed city and all of the undead who roam it.
What's an Albion?
Livings are welcome there. An Alhun is a mind flayer who has undergone the process of lichdom.
Ah, more liches. I'm starting to see a theme.
We've
You
only
have a
mentioned
problem
three
with
of them.
liches?
Okay. What about Westshire? Count Sunflame's territory.
Westshire. Again, you don't want to be near the coast. Not due to Scrat, but due to robotic menaces. McCann are well known for raiding villages for slaves.
Especially
Yeah.
since they've been granted territory by Count Sunflame and Von Valentine Manor.
Yes. So if you're near the coast, your life isn't awful, but you are constantly on the lookout and have a good bit of anxiety with raids. However, if you're a bit more inland, you're generally doing fine if you're within a walled settlement. Non-walled
Alright.
settlements, specifically non-stone walled settlements, have had a terrible time as of late. And you are, honestly, fearing for your life.
Hmm.
A terrible sickness has spread amongst the land, encouraging of all horrific things, cannibalism.
Oh dear. That is actually
And
quite terrifying.
People.
A
They
tremendous
people.
force of aggressive and diseased wolves are found throughout the region currently.
Ah, yes,
with
I
them
believe we have.
taking entire villages in the night.
I believe we haven't quite talked about that, but Albion's always been known for having a horrific amount of monsters, goblins, wolves, dinosaurs just roaming about in the wilderness.
Yes. Fortunately, when the Great Devil Scourge occurred, much of this life was actually wiped out by the devils.
Hmm.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
now that the devils are gone, that life is returning.
And that's
No.
not to mention the femboy kobolds.
Ah, yes, the femboy kobolds.
The Femboy Kobolds should
damn
have
it.
their own episode.
No, they need to
Yes,
be
and I-
ripped
and I-
from
and-
existence.
They lurk in the undergrounds of Albion,
I think,
waiting.
I think the Femboy Kobolds should have their own episode that I'm not a part of.
Yeah, that's all you, buddy.
Or that'd probably be an episode of me, you, and maybe Cypher if I can kidnap them.
Dear God, kill me. No, I believe
Nope,
most of
you've
those
already
things have
agreed
been
with
wiped off the map. There's just a small little settlement somewhere between here and Ennsville.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
it's a
matter.
little-
They're
it's a little-
kobolds. They're like rabbits.
This is true.
I can give some heads up. The femboy kobolds are reproducing,
Oh dear. Oh dear.
though they are stuck on an island, so they
Kill
can't.
them
They really
with
can't.
fire. That does remind
Here's
me.
what you do. You get any high-level wizard. You cast Meteor Swarm where they are, and then cast it again until there's nothing left but a pile of crater.
Before Atheron
Yeah, that's
showed up
correct,
and
actually.
fucked up the country, Albion was well known for its
Hear me.
Paladin Order. I believe that there is still remnants of the Paladin Order in New York. What is going on there?
Albion, following the collapse of the vampiric empires and the actual forging of Albion as a country under the first King Yom, very much from the beginning had a strong reliance not necessarily on faith, but on zeal against
Ooh.
vampires and all forms of undead, which over the years shifted more so into anything that wasn't human.
Hmm.
And that is
Yes.
where this Paladin Order comes in. They are specifically against undead and monsters, and what they deem a monster in other countries would be deemed a citizen.
Right, of course, like Edensville, where animal people are considered citizens, but to this particular group of paladins would be a kill-on-sight monster, or put it in slave collar kind of deal, right?
Yes. For example, a shifter, a generally normal sight in Edensville, would be seen as no different from a rampaging werewolf by these paladins,
Ah.
even if they hadn't harmed a single person.
As far as I'm aware, they're still around, but it's in small numbers, right?
Yes, they have begun making a resurgence following Gaffron's defeat, actually.
Oh.
As
Ooh.
they specialized in killing all things not human, they did quite well against the Devil Scourge and have gained a good following, particularly in the south.
That would make sense, considering the often back in the day, or talking a couple of hundreds, maybe 1,000 years ago, would send troops down to the ice wall to go fight the devil and demon scourge that is on the, what's it called? Bonelands? The Bonelands?
Yes, the bone.
Bonelands.
And in particular, there was even an expedition that was sent into the portals of hell to attempt to kill one of the Grand Dukes of Hell, which did not succeed. But they did try. They did try.
They gave it the good old effort.
Yep. So, I'm guessing these guys have, like, holy artifacts and relics and things of power, right?
Yes. And they are noteworthy for, as was briefly mentioned, slave colors. Unlike
slavery.
many unlike many groups of paladins, they see no problem with slavery, as they don't view those they enslave as people. They are noteworthy for enslaving specifically ogres en masse.
Ah, I see. I did not know that.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
Now I do. So what, they
Entire
raid
ogre
these-
tribes are often massacred, with their young being stolen and forced into slavery.
Do they ride these things into battle or bring them in as siege weapons?
Some have been seen to be ridden, with massive, almost miniature parapets mounted atop them. And
What,
others with howdahs.
What would be their main mode of transport? Have they ever taken a dragon as a pet, or wyverns, or griffins, or...
They have been seen to use white dragons on very, very rare occasion. This is much higher members of this order.
I'm guessing extremely strong ones, right?
Yes.
Probably.
I'd imagine those members were not present during the Atheron invasion, probably off on some sort of holy quest, which would explain why they weren't present for the war.
Yes, actually. There was a great excursion of this ancient paladin order over to the lands of the vampires, Albion.
Oh, well, that's actually quite interesting.
Yes,
Do they have-
fruits of their labor have been noted.
They have
Only
ties
a
with religion?
third. They do not have ties with religion, proper.
Oh, okay.
It is noted as only a third of their order returned.
Ooh.
However, those that did were blooded members of true strength.
Mm.
And
Okay.
a good number of their order are known for partaking in their kills to gain additional power.
Mm.
Particularly with dragons that are hunted from the border with Renatria.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's actually quite interesting. So, despite Renatria's friendly disposition to Albion, these guys are just stealing dragons out there. Or hunting
Yes.
them, or killing them, or whatever they're doing.
These guys, since the earlier days of Albion, have not been recognized officially by the crown.
Mm. Yet
Which might be good.
their church is currently in York, right? And the crown is missing, so where do they fit into the power struggle?
That is because with Earl Wunderbrook's forces, one of the major reasons they were able to take so much land back from the devils was with the help of this order.
Okay.
Many of the order have been seen with Earl Wunderbrook's forces. They seem to be an uneasy allyship.
Hmm. Is there any... Is the order quite devout, or has there been signs of corruption in the past? Or is it, like, generally quite revered among the people? What's the deal?
Amongst human people of Albion, they are seen as great saviors usually.
Okay.
However, amongst the non-human populace, who are increasingly becoming more viewed as people, they are not viewed favorably at all and are often disallowed from entering mixed cities.
Hmm. What god or gods do they allow the worship of?
Oh, this is known. They have a particular reverence for the imperishable, the newest god of Jura.
Oh, okay, interesting. What of the older
However,
members?
However, they do have a very twisted view of the imperishable from other countries that worship them, such as the Hoylands.
Yeah. Rats, I hate to interrupt real quick, but I am going to have to head off.
See you
No
later, bud.
worries. I do think we are approaching the end anyway.
We've basically got all
Yes.
the information we can out of the country at this point.
Yep.
Yes, they have a very twisted view on the imperishable, viewing him as some human savior who shields the weak from the disgusting monsters of the land.
Ah, I see. So
They
they've
also-
twisted that. Interesting.
They also have a strange worship of all beings, the former god of magic, Mystra,
Huh.
who they have viewed as a human whose mastery over magic was so intense they ascended to godhood. Obviously, most outer beings from their almost cult know this is not the myth of Mystra at all.
Hmm.
But it is the idea of Mystra they choose to spread.
I believe the Paladin Order was one of the original dissenters, haters of the god Moradin, and haven't they like retwisted his image to make him more human or something along those lines?
Yes. They originally were complete haters of Moradin and refused to believe in a progenitor god being a dwarf of all things. However, as time has gone on, they have eased up a little on their devout racism, with some of the more humanoid races, such as dwarves and some elves.
Hmm.
And along with this came a reimagining of Moradin. Rather than this purely dwarven god of smithing and, well, the entire world now, they view him more of a progenitor to the true human gods, where Moradin was this unprocessed, gross, raw product that through glorious refinement and great processes of the world's creation, forged new these wondrous and beautiful human gods.
Hmm.
They
Are there
very
any other-
much view Moradin sort of as like an ore, and their true gods as the end product of a sword and axe.
Over the whole of Albion, what are the main 5 gods that are being worshipped currently?
Over Albion, the main 5 gods that are worshipped are Moradin, of course, the Imperishable in recent years, a few staunch devotees of Aphron still continue to worship Asmodeus. Mystra is not necessarily worshipped as a god, but is worshipped as a myth. And of course, the Saint of Time, Michael, is worshipped.
Ah, yes, of course. As one of the main gods that, of course, the church would, the order would also.
Yes.
Because Michael's
order
tale
does
is that he
view
was
them
once
favorably.
human. Alright. And to finish it all off, if you were to describe Albion's current state as a country in comparison to other countries in the world, what world of country would it be?
To our real world.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I think the Guildmaster himself put it best before. The Roman Empire during its collapse.
So it's like a first world country that's plummeted into a third world country real fast.
Yes.
And everything's on
There
fire.
are elements of what was once greater, and there are a few individuals trying to pull it back. But on the whole, no matter where you are, it is not as good as it ever was before.
Alright. Anything else to say before we end the podcast?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Alright, well, thanks for watching, everyone, if you have watched it all the way to the end. I hope you learned a lot about Albion. I sure learned more about Albion than I knew. And I helped create the country originally.
Yeah, says the original DM of the country.
I'm actually not the original. I was the third GM of that country.
Third?
I'm the third GM of the country.
Damn.
Alright, so thank you, Rats, for joining in. We'll see you next episode, I guess, because you're the co-host. Mentalk, thanks for showing up as a temporary guest. Thank you as well. Wagon. Thanks, Kaz. And thanks, Zen, for all the comments in the throne room while we were chatting. They were actually quite funny to read sometimes. Anyone else want to say anything before we sign off?
Card games on motorcycles.
Right. Great. Card games on
I'm
motorcycles.
I will.
Dragons.
If we come to Endville, I am counting on you, Aura, to do law because I don't know any of the law.
It's quite easy. Edensville, when we get around to it, is the happy-go-lucky country of animal people. Humans are not the most welcome, but they're allowed, and they can have citizenship, but they're like second-class citizens.
Yeah, that's the baseline. I mean, like in depth.
I know
get around to
basically nothing about it, bro. You'll have to hit up Francis for a lot of the deets.
Oh my god, it's the furry country.
It is the furry
Great. I have
country.
to look through past videos sessions. Great.
Yeah.
Of course, and God said unto Moses, "Let it rip."
Yep.
Let it rip, indeed. I think the next one we'll do will be Hogeland with Wagon next week.
Sure. I will say I would still like to have Rats, as Rats is the one that has recently done a quest in it. And he is also the GM of the Badlands, technically, and Badlands are heavily tied. Yeah, but like what I'm saying is I'm saying you're also the GM of the Badlands, and the Badlands are
yeah, Rats will definitely be there.
heavily
He's the
tied
co-host, bro.
to
He'll be there as well.
Hoylands are extremely tied to the Hoylands, so we'll require.
You've got funny dwarfs running around naked with hammers to look forward to, guys. That's how I describe it.
No, actually. I don't know why you would say it's the dwarf country.
It's
mostly
the
Dragon
funny
Ball.
Vikings running around
Lizard
naked
folk.
with hammers.
Funnily enough, quite a few of my retired characters have a resident in the Hoyland.
Yes.
One of them being the most notable, one of them being the most infamous guild member ever.
Is this where the Argonian guys come from? The lizards? Not the
There's a
Argonians.
strong population of them, though.
Great. Time to make a lizard and push buttons.